My ears! How have you not fixed this yet?
I can't hear you.
Ouch! For the love of God, culture, please help it. Bleeding!
Who?
God, it's everywhere. It's like my ears are having a period.
So loud every time.
I don't want to be here.
It's pretty loud.
Wait, is that the fake voice of a girl I hear? I can't tell over the music. Is that Jane? I can't even hear anybody. What?
You guys are over exaggerating.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
the
God.
silence. Oh, God, thank you.
Oh.
We still have people in the chat. That's fantastic.
It was kind of like torture. A little
There's
bit.
actually humans here?
I try to see how long I can go through with it.
Jane must have been screaming for me to be able to half-ass hear over that shit.
Here we go. All
Thanks for the
right,
warning.
All right. Welcome.
Hey, Six Rockstar.
What was that again? I still can't hear. Welcome everybody to the chat. I got a time.
You guys, you're being
You sound
overly
really
dramatic.
quiet, Scott.
Yeah.
What? No, we're not. Culture.
better,
You gotta
better,
change
better.
that.
Better.
Better. Amazing. Amazing,
Alright.
Scott.
You're being overly
No,
dramatic.
we're
It's
not.
that loud.
I'm dripping blood
Lord.
Gotta get that checked.
out of my whatever.
Steven had something like that. It burned and he was dripping, but that's a different story altogether. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of The Dump. I am
Where is
Scott. This is
everybody?
Sporking News Podcast, and I don't know. But you know what I'm happy about? The people that are here right now in the chat and on this panel. And we're going to start with the beautiful Jane Theory. How are you, Jane?
Hello. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much.
Happy to be
And
here.
I'm happy to always have you here. And I also am
sound
happy to have
convinced.
Tom here.
I thought this was a karaoke stream.
Are you going to make me an offer you can't refuse?
I'm gonna make you a bagel. How would you want it? You want cream cheese? What do you want butter?
Okay, so people might think I'm weird. I like both.
How about margarine?
Both?
You know, margarine's
No, not
really
margarine. Yeah,
butter.
dude, try butter and cream cheese. And if you don't do that, try cream cheese with a little bit of salt. It's
I like
just
your style. You
Give it a
know.
shot.
Thank you.
I
you.
didn't get
And
this
while-
fat saying no to butter and cream cheese.
Margarine is the epoxy of the food world.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Almost like plastic.
Yeah, it's terrible. You know what else is terrible? Stephen Walton, how are you, my friend?
Hi, hail the chat. Thank you guys for being here. And those
What
of
a
you
great stream you had.
what a great stream over there. Jay is a wonderful person, man. I'm glad he's been my friend for years now. For a lot of us, man. He promotes us. He's always motivating. He's always pushing forward. It's hard for him to take his time to get onto people's streams now.
Yeah,
And so it's good to see him. And Mark is a leading voice in the community. Has been for 3 years.
I need
One of
him
my
on.
favorite YouTubers. And definitely got to reach out to him because he has great conversation,
He's been on before.
great ideas, good person. So
Yeah.
hail to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Please share out the link and smash the like and subscribe to all these wonderful people on this panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my friend. And it's glad to have you here. Also, it's been a while, Nick Weiser. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. And yes, you're right. It's been quite a few months, and I am so glad to be here on a dump with all of you fine human beings. Hail to the chat. We got a lot of awesome subjects that are going to warrant some great conversation and may take us to, well, higher realms and places and peaks and valleys. I'm looking forward. So, yeah,
Nick,
Scott, very thankful to be on here. Seriously.
Nick,
Yeah,
I
so
love your
thankful.
shirt, dude. I love
Oh,
your
shirt.
Yeah.
Dope.
That's a Luke shirt,
Now, wait a
baby.
minute.
That
Wait
is a
minute.
Luke shirt.
Luke
Give us-
Rukowski.
Yeah, give us a close up so people can see it.
Yes.
So this place is actually
Press your
called the
chest
Dump.
up against the camera.
It's not just a clever
Culture-
name,
Culture, give us who is this and what are we looking at?
Luke actually works with our good friend Tim Pool at Tim. You know, Tim Cast IRL, and Luke has his own jam, but he makes shirts like this. They're incredible. He has so many of these. I can't even begin, but this is just beautiful. Be careful not to spread fake news. Leave that up to the professionals. Thank you, Luke Bukowski. You're amazing, my friend.
I'm loving it, brother. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
And last but not least,
Pleasure.
we have always, dude, the beautiful Culture Casino.
Hello, everybody. I'm here. I just want to promote Jane's live stream today. It was fire. She
The
was
one I
talking-
miss.
Oh man, she was talking all about the rust accident and everything else, and her perspective and her thoughts on it are brilliant. And if you missed
Always
it,
are.
go back and watch it today. It was great. So there you
Jane is the opposite of me. She doesn't jump the gun.
go. And she reads things.
She's thoughtful. Oh, I don't read.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, I definitely don't read. But you know who is a great reader and writer? Storyman Jack is back as a YouTube member. So thank you very much, my friend. Storyman has been awesome. He actually sent me a photo last week or Wednesday where he was at a game with his family and they were all holding up sporks. So we might show that
Nice.
later. Thank you, Storyman. Please, guys,
Yeah,
if you find a
criminally-
spork, criminally
understubbed. Subscribe to Storyman Jack. He's one of the most imaginative writers in this community.
He's incredible. He's a regular on the Sunday Culture Review. He's a great friend. He's incredibly. I mean, dude writes some amazing stories. So
Yes.
check out his channel. Listen to his stories. If you're driving in the car, there's nothing better than listening. If you could go through his horror stories, they're incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
Horror
really
stories? What?
No, horror.
Horror stories.
Horror?
Yep.
Horror?
A lot of horrors. Yeah, guys, please check it out. Ken, I'm going to put up this here. If someone, I know we put up your GoFundMe before, so if someone has it, they want to throw it out there. Ken Jack Ben, as I am trying to avoid staying in a tent through the winter, my cousin has created a GoFundMe. I pinned it to my Twitter, so someone shares Twitter of the same name. So you can look up Ken Jack Ben. Here to support would be greatly appreciated. Ken, share. If you guys can't support, share, because somebody out there can. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's the way I see it. I know a lot of people are going through some tough times right now. So after that depressing stream Walton had, inspirational but depressing, I'm hoping we have more fun. And that's what we're here. We're here.
Something else that's depressing is that Polly is in the chat and motherfucker can't answer my text. What's up with that?
Yeah.
He thinks he's J3PO now.
Yeah. He's I'm the
Whoa.
best
What's up
looking
with that?
man.
Whoa.
What's up with that?
That's tough, man. Yeah, you know, bite the
Falling
hand
on hard
that feeds
times
thee.
there, Tom.
You know, Tom,
Yeah,
I
at
love
least
you.
Culture answers all my texts.
Oh, look at that Tom again. Ugh.
I say, send me a dick pic, Culture, and he complies.
Absolutely.
Storyman Jack for $5. Oh, I'm sorry. Go Culture.
No, but it's not what you think. I mean, it's like Dick Cavett or Dick Van Dyke or So.
Dick Habit? I thought you
just
said Dick
Dick?
Habit. I'm like,
Yeah.
he has a
That's what I
dick
heard.
habit.
He has
Yeah,
a
you
Culture
heard it
Casino.
too.
Hashtag Culture Casino Dick Habit.
Dick Habit.
So the stepdaughters won second place in state 3A marching band in Texas. That pick was, that's where we saw it from. All right. So what I was going to say is anytime you come by a spork, please take a picture and either, add me, tag me to Instagram or Twitter. I would love to see those. Also,
Congratulations.
I've been trying to get people to do this. If you want, how Friday Night Tights people have like, what do you call those meat platters? My wife always knows the name. Charou or chateau or cheddar. I don't know. A cheese platter, let's just say, wine with it on a 75-inch screen watching Friday Night Tights. I want a Paps. I want a Paps with a phone picture of that.
But are you trying to say the word charcuterie?
I knew he'd know it. Charcuterie. Is that it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm straight. My bad.
Is that a dick habit?
Dick Habit.
Dick habit.
Wow, guys, this is a classy show.
Culture has a dick habit.
I
Raquel.
said Dick Cavett. You
Oh,
jerk
Dick
faces.
Cavett.
not what Nick and I
Mockany
heard.
Draws, guys. Mockany Draws. Mock, share your link. Guys, he
Hey,
is
Mock.
pushing to 1,000. I love Mockany. Mockany is one of the best dudes out there. And I want him to get to 1,000. So please share. If you guys are not subscribed to him, please subscribe to him. He's
Macklyn is one of those
dude.
people that's like a glue between a lot of different creators in our communities. Friends
Good
with
heart.
everybody, supports everybody, great heart. Let's get his channel up to 1,000, guys. Thank you. Share out a link for it.
We have
I
so
gotta
many.
say, though,
there. Oh,
there's
yes.
40 people
We'll
listening
get
here
there.
against their better judgment. Please hit that like.
Yeah. And only 35 of them is me. Nick McCabe has a great channel with his brother Sam. Christian Fandom Geek has a great channel. I mean, there's so many great channels out there, guys. And a lot of them will be in our chats because we all support each other. So please, don't forget that. Support one another. Supreme Heretic up in the house. He has a great channel. And he has now been added to my Wednesday DM for the Wednesday edition. So hopefully he'll be joining those.
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
So great guy. Going to get him up to 1,000. I want to get him up to 1,000 subs, Scott, if I may, just for a second.
Yeah,
we had
please.
somebody like Jay on Rogue Entertainment earlier, and he was talking about how it is our job to promote ourselves, to work, to take that next step, to make the best that we can. And that's the truth. We kind of all came up together. We came up together supporting one another. And that was the message, really, just speaking out for the right for us to be individuals, to have to speak our own minds, to have our own thoughts, to be able to God damn it, man, you fuck me up whenever you do that. But really, I mean, it's really about independent thought, being able to like what you want to like, being able to say what you want to say, defying those who would try and separate us because of their own fears, insecurities of trying to make money off of us. So, if you've got that clique, if you've got a circle of people that you really love on YouTube, or your favorite YouTubers or content creators or artists or whatever it is, support each other, support one another. Sometimes ego should be set aside for the greater good. And that is what we have built in the last several years. So please support some of these wonderful content creators. Subscribe, watch a video, see, try and be involved. And man, suffer no fools, but be good to each other.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just want to say this: the chat's on fire.
They are
stacks of super chats. You have brilliant humans here.
Yep, we got about 48 people.
Hey! You're excluding the ape population in the chat. I saw Rob Altus in here.
Well, Rob's and the Yeti population. Yeti cast.
Every time I see that, put his thing back up. Every time I see his thing, this is what I hear. The only good human is a dead human.
I like being talked down to. That turns me on. Rob, hit me up.
Wow. Small time, dude. I love this guy. He's up there with Terminus and people like Toxic Man Flu, like for quality, like one-liners and chat performance. Hail, the only cure for dick habits is a meat platter. That is awesome. That is beautiful. Keep sending them, guys.
What the hell's those meat platters called again?
Charcuterie.
If you see Cold Casino anywhere, retweeting, tweeting anything, hashtag dick habit. Thank you.
Yep. And we start off because the man is here, so we have to have a flavor. Terminus S, $5. Thank you, my buddy.
Can I read
Nick
it?
Weiser. Yeah, please do.
Nick Weiser, flavor number 13. Culture Casino's bag of Dick's bologna sausage sandwich with extra dumb cheese. It's fire.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Brought to you by Nick Weiser.
Nick Weiser.
My pleasure. The flavors are all pleasurable.
And Mr. Tickle Trunk, who is one of my biggest supporters, a mod, great guy, Canadian $5, so it's real. Do you see this, Steve Shaw? This is a super chat. You're supposed to read these. Places it on Scott's desk, kissed it on the forehead, and whispered, "Bam."
Guys, I'm sorry. I know I screwed up a few times on the last stream. My bad.
It's pronounced Stefan.
Stefan. I'm sorry, Stefan. Someone did tweet. Someone either tweeted or put it in one of our DMs. He's a douche when he writes Steven as Stefan, but pronounces it Steven. I thought that was great. We got some great topics tonight. Thank you to the 53 people who are here right now. Smash that like button. Guys, like, share, please subscribe. There's a lot of people that watch this show, like 30 some odd % that aren't subscribed. So please hit the subscribe button to help this channel grow. I am a dad and it makes it hard for me to make videos. So help a brother out with subscriptions.
Please
So we're gonna-
subscribe to Sporking News Podcast.
So we don't have to hear it whine. It gets
I
bad.
got.
He also has to beat Walton to a race as well.
It's never
so
gonna-
That's
I'm
the,
gonna
that's
beat him
the
to-
other reason.
Put it this way: if he gets to 2,000, it's because he's an ass kisser, and I'll beat him to 3,000.
Absolutely. I'm
It's
gonna
never
keep
going to
kissing.
end. It's
For a
never going to
man who
end.
has no more balls, he sure does.
Grifting
have
and kissing.
well,
Grifting and
balls.
kissing. Grifting and kissing.
So we're going to start out tonight, and Jane is here, and Jane has a lot of knowledge on this story alone, but Eric July talked about it too. One of the better YouTubers out
Ted's
there.
company.
I love it, but yeah. So
Nice one.
Of
Yeah.
course, Ripple was.
Eric Rip is the dude. He's the best. Eric July says DC stands for Dead Company. Transgendered Amazon revealed destroys Wonder Woman lore. Now, Jane,
Yeah.
Amazon, if I'm correct, Amazon are women warriors that don't need men.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are
Well-
they talking?
So I'm not exactly sure what his take is as far as the Wonder Woman lore.
Yeah, we'll find
But
out. Though.
as far as Nubia is concerned, because that is all of this is taking place in her novel Nubia and the Amazons, right? They decided to use that as a platform to introduce the trans Amazons.
Okay.
How they are produced or created is through this thing they call the Well of Souls or the Cavern of Souls. And historically or canonically, that was where the new Amazons were born. They were reborn from human women who were essentially murdered by men in the real world. And so they were reborn as Amazons. It didn't happen very often, but it would happen. And that's how those women became Amazons. Okay, fine.
Okay.
So how they introduced the trans Amazons was the same way. Somehow the souls of these individuals were reborn as fully formed women Amazons.
Okay.
And
So one
thus
more
became
time.
the sisters.
So they were.
I don't believe you.
Wait a minute. Yeah, say it one more time. So they're the souls are souls of what gen? Maybe I am not allowed to say that anymore.
This is the
what were they?
problem.
Yeah, what were they before this
They
happened?
were born men,
There you go.
Okay.
and were murdered by men,
Okay.
and
Men
somehow
suck.
came through the Well of Souls and were reborn as women Amazons,
Now, do they? So
which I
are they men that feel trapped in a woman's Amazon body?
here's
Or
what's
are they-
unique about it. The one that's introduced as Bia. Okay.
Okay.
Be a man.
So many different
Oh,
ways you can take it.
Wow.
Beer. I'm
So
a
many
big
different ways you
fan.
can take it.
I like beer.
Her thing, well, I felt it was too close to Nubia. Like they're
Oh.
making a new version of the character
Oh.
that's now trans.
Right.
But the way this person sort of described it, this new form is how she always saw herself.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't-
Hey, Polly, I'm gay with an H. Get it right.
It's just
Sounds very confused, Jane. What?
It does.
it's a confusing situation because it doesn't make any logical sense with the
Well,
story.
I think Jane is making too much sense, and the whole gist is for you to not think about it. It's just an order to just shut up and consume, because when you think about it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Nothing lines up. It's very inconsistent. And when Jane's putting a lot of thought to it, as she rightfully should, you're realizing this doesn't. No, you can't connect any dots here. There's no A to B. This is just A to Z. Shut up and don't question how we
This
got
is
there.
going
And the thing ab-
beyond. Oh, go ahead, Jane. Sorry.
The one more thing about it is that when you look at how they're drawn,
Mhm.
they're drawn like trans men. Or trans women.
Oh
Like
my
they don't
God.
they're
They
not
don't
if
look
you're
like
gonna be exactly if you're gonna be reborn as a woman, okay, cool. So why aren't they just women? They should just
Well,
be women.
Jane, did you see the recent drawings of She-Hulk? I mean, they made her look more like a man too. That's what they're doing.
That's
Yeah,
why Omar,
That's-
non-binary.
they're taking all these like female characters
Mhm.
and they're making them look more like men. And I'll tell you, like, you trust me, like these images of recent She-Hulk, she looks mortifying. Like You will like. I trust me. It takes a lot to gross me out, but seeing the current incarnation of She-Hulk, she is gross. Like it'll make you want to set your eyes on fire.
All smash balls. Yeah. Well, is it? I mean, is this just like a reincarnation story? Is this?
Oh no, this is within their prime continuity, whatever it's called.
Well, I don't mind like a
No, they're not reincarnated. It's supposed to
Oh.
be that the women are just reborn as Amazons. They suffered as humans in their regular life, and they lost their lives as a result.
Right.
And they were granted because they go to essentially Hades.
Yeah, it's supposed to be those who suffer at the hands of men's abuses,
Right.
basically.
Become
so
these
they're
Amazons.
brought back.
Okay.
Themselves is how it's supposed to work, not as what they think they are, but they themselves are brought back. So it's just bizarre. But then the other thing they do in this comic is that they leave in this reference or include this reference where Nubia, who is Diana's sister, okay,
Oh wow.
she is said to have come through this process. So they
So wait. Oh my god.
completely changed her history.
Wow.
And
Well,
maybe
and
that's
here's-
what he's talking about. Maybe that's what Eric's talking about. We'll find that out in a bit. But go ahead, Tom.
Well, here's my problem with the whole damn thing, and this is where I feel like women need to start standing up a little bit more and call it turf or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it's like there has to be a line drawn. Nobody is denying your existence as a trans person. Nobody is saying you shouldn't have the right to live your life the way you want to live it.
Dig it.
But to sit there and try and pretend that, you're not basically just doing what men have done for years is just like take the credit and take away things from women.
Right.
And we finally got to this place where
Or
we
even taking
we
birth.
were at equality. Right. Now they're trying to take away things that, we never could do. Right.
Right.
And that's the ridiculousness of it. And it goes beyond just the whole birthing aspect or any of that kind of crap. Or pretending to have a period. It's all about, the athletic side of things, the other things that we've seen. And here we go with another thing is like women have always looked up to Wonder Woman as
Right.
a very strong character.
Feminine symbol, yeah.
Exactly.
Like
a very
feminist.
feminine symbol, yet
Yeah.
strong and
Yep.
heroic. And she is not somebody to trifle with, because if you go through her past, every time they have fucked with that character,
Mhm.
the feminists have come out of the woodwork to say, now wait a goddamn minute.
Mhm.
Especially back in the 70s when
when she got
rest
married
in
and
peace,
stuff.
Denny
and-
O'Neil, but when
Yeah.
Denny O'Neil made the big mistake of taking away Wonder Woman's powers.
Yep.
Mhm.
And he thought he was doing the right thing by giving her, a career and making her a modern woman. And he finally, after he got all this backlash, he's like, oh shit, I just realized I took away the strength of the, one of the most strongest female role models out there.
Well,
Oops.
you're taking another. I mean, in the short term, you're looking at on small scale. You're looking at they're just adding another trans to, by no sense of logic, to DC Comics. In the greater picture of things, it's just another step towards making another thing less.
Take away
Like
from
it's
women.
like genderless, womenless, like everything less, like neutral this, like. Whatever the add word and then listen to it, like contactless, genderless, childless, fatherless, dadless. It's just another way to rid people of individual identities in the,
But
in
why
the grand
not-
scheme
why
of
not-
things.
Why not do that in their own comic? That's the problem. I
Because
have.
that's the whole.
You could have did
you're-
that
That's the
in its
whole
own
point,
separate story.
Jane. They could, but the thing is, if they do that, they already know people aren't going to check that out. They need the thing that's going to grab headlines. These books with the Wonder Woman and the Amazons, they make the headlines. This is to catch headlines, and
admit
it
that.
shows. They and think about it. Think about when they talk about Tim Drake, and we already forgot. Think about what Jonathan Kent. We already forgot about it.
I'll
They're
never
doing it
forget
to
that.
get short-term headlines, and people keep that.
I
These
get what
people
you're saying.
aren't going to buy the books. They're not
No,
going to buy it, but
no,
they don't
no,
care
no.
that they don't buy it. They just want to get the people talking.
Well, take for
And-
example, Nick, real quick, and then I got to read you a couple of these. They tried with the New Warriors, a less known group, to do what they wanted to do, and it failed. So why not jump on the coattails of these better characters that have been around forever and just change them into what you want? Because, Bruce Wayne should, and I don't care if Bruce Wayne's Asian. I don't care, but you change it that it's his mother's money, and the Waynes haven't been there for decades, or centuries, pretty much. Like you changed everything about the lore.
And here, one more thing
go
they
ahead.
did different was because they keep it's always this thing where I know I point this out a lot, and I know they do it with other characters, but it always seems with Black characters when they do this, they make them worse. One of the things they did too, besides taking away her god status, is they also eliminated her father figure.
Oh
because
yeah,
she was
another
raised by
fatherless
Ares,
character.
and he is completely out of the picture. He was eliminated in this comic.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
that sounds about right, Jane. I at that point, this is business as usual out of dead company.
Well, let me read these super chats so I don't lose them like Walton did. Actually, Walton, Walton, why don't you read this one?
Walton's making bank off his enema sales again. Last month, he didn't sell much because people were too busy scaring the shit out of each other.
Thank
you,
you,
Terminus.
Terminus S, for $5. Mr. Grant Gregory, who was supposed to be here tonight but got called into work for Australian
Glad you're
$10. Yeah, dude, he's in Australia, so when they get a chance to work, you're gonna
Australia.
take it. Hail all, have a great show. We're praying for you guys down there. We think it's bad up here. It is not as bad as you guys got it. So prayers with you. That the Islington girl who we love. $1.49. I didn't look at it, but I want to guess it's a hot dog. I could be wrong, but I think it's
It's in the private chat.
it is. All right, hold on.
and
Let me see if I called it.
And it is a hot dog.
I called it a hot dog. Thank you, my man. My man, I almost said, oh my God.
is a
Sorry, I'm
phallic
talking
hot dog.
Amazons. You are a beautiful human being. Thank you that much.
It's a Amazon hot dog.
You got a beautiful soul.
I can't believe they let him super chat this.
Tom,
Yes, Wally, but it's with an H. Get it right.
there we go. Thank you, Latino Slant, for $4.99.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing, yeah, right? Nothing is wrong with that. We got a couple more. I'm sorry, chat. It's flying, man.
You're a little gay, Scott.
You know what?
Oh, he's a lot of gay. Especially now that he's the nutless wonder.
I am the nutless wonder.
And actually, you're officially medium gay.
He had a baby and he's still got no nuts.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressive that way.
Semi-bisexual.
Yeah, even though I'm not going there. Culture Casino for $5 says, all hail Saturday Night Gripes. Hair, new name for the dump. Thanks for licking the like button.
So I guess the Sporking steamer's out for Saturday show.
Or you're just the hair.
No, actually, the hair is my icon. Apparently, you called it the hair in your thing. So my emoji for the channel is hair.
I like that. You're welcome.
I didn't do that. You did it.
I did do that. I do things by accident sometimes. What are you gonna do?
Wait.
Yeah, please speak.
Read the member chat that's pinned in the private chat. Knucklehead.
Thank you very much. Also, Larry has been a member. I think he said 13 months. Thank you, Larry. E. Clay Thomason, member 2 months. And thank you for catching these because they haven't found a way for us to find these. We have to actually, someone has to see it going by the member chats. But for 2 months, member for 4 months. 2 months. Member for 4 months, Oberyn Martell. Point of order. The intro is too loud. Please wave your hands in the air instead to avoid triggering us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Scott, you're not thinking of all the people you're triggering with that loud intro.
Yeah, you're giving them really bad microaggressions. What's wrong with you?
Aggie is stalking me now.
I set up another room. I set up another room for everybody, and it's in Final Death Stars. If you guys remember that guy, it's a safe room because he's not there right now. So just go hide at his channel and everything will be all right. Nikki D, how you doing? So let's get back and actually read a little bit of this article.
Okay. Let's do that.
Yeah, I wish you had it up. You read better. YouTube commentator, you could bring it up. Commentator Eric.
Well, I have no problem getting things up.
I can read.
There we go. YouTube commentator Eric July, also known as Young Rippa 59, doesn't like DC's introduction of trans Amazons into their canon in the new comic Nubia and the Amazons.
Jane, can I ask a question? Nubia and the Amazons, it's not from the same island. Are they mostly black women?
No, they're from the same island.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
It's the same people. It's just that they brought things have happened and now Nubia is like the queen or whatever. But what this particular novel focuses on is the emergence of these new Amazons, and all of them are trans.
On Themyscira?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize that. Go ahead, Culture. Thank you, Jane.
In a recent video, July declares the publisher is a dying brand whose letters stand for dead company, and that they should be left to their fate over this stunt, which he believes is not intended to get public publicity any more than it is to sell comics.
Yep.
Dead company till their comics die. I'm not Tom. I tried. Damn it.
But we should have known something was up when they named it Nubia and the Amazons. It was like, okay, so what are you going to do with these Amazons? Clearly, it's going to be about them.
Well, apparently not good things. Bad publicity can literally ruin a brand, he says, having seen it happen himself many times as someone who doesn't believe all publicity is good publicity. July points out, 1, nobody who uses that phrase has actually owned anything, and 2, the publicity isn't translating into sales or making money. When you go look at the NBD stands, they don't seem to tell a story that these people are making money. He continued.
But if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book, Culture.
Yeah, except that she backtracked. You know what? We won't even get into that. Then, after face palming at the Screen Rant headline, Wonder Woman's sisters bring first transgendered Amazon to DC Comics.
I can't even.
And see, that's the other thing. All the attention now is on these Amazons. They can't even. Oh my God.
They still don't sell. I can confirm and verify. I go to one of the biggest shops in Illinois, and the only thing that sells from DC is, wait for it, biggest revelation, Batman stuff. Even with the oversaturation Deadpool style, Batman sells. And the guy who runs my shop, you guys may remember when Nerdrotic was doing a thing where he's giving away $1,000 to comic shops, no strings attached. Yes. This was that shop. I go to that shop that Gary gave $1,000 to. And thankfully, because of Gary and Humberto Ramos, they are the reasons his shop stayed alive. But yeah, he tells me these books don't sell at his shop. And he said, he would like to see what happened if those books actually sold. But at best, you'll get someone who may come in for the number one just to, go outside, take a picture of themselves, post it on their Instagram, kind of like a little validation point. Say, look, I support this book. But when it comes to issue 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, they ain't coming for that. They ain't coming in for the trade either. You're lucky if you could get them to do a number one. And then they think, okay, maybe just try to relaunch it. And obviously that's more of a Marvel thing. And the same pattern repeats. The cycle goes on again. And these people aren't going to support these books. They'll talk about how much they like the idea of what's going on, but when it comes to actually giving money and supporting it, they're not going to do it. They expect you to do it without them having to actually contribute to it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Real quick. Culture and I are showing this. Tina Bojan, great channel member, is sharing Ken Jack Ben's GoFundMe. He might be in a tent this summer, so if we can help out.
Winter.
Excuse me. Winter. Sorry about that.
Winter's a little colder than summer, Scott.
It's tad bit. I'm in the Northeast. I know these things. So please, if you can help out, share whatever you can afford. Please help. If you can't, because it's been hard times for a lot of people, share this on Facebook and Twitter. Share it out and help the guy out. He's a really good dude. So please help out. And I see Saggy Melons lurking. Love you, babe.
He proclaims Nubia, Diana Prince's actual sister of ethnic background,
She's not of ethnic background. She's literally just a different color.
But it's all about. So the fundamental idea of this comic book is, all right, let's make sure we push the ethnicity, but definitely before that, push the transgender topic. There's no content. It feels.
I think this is the problem I have with it. It's over the last few years, you've seen this re-emphasis on this particular character, and a lot of people thought, I did. I don't know why I keep giving these people the benefit of a doubt. That, they've listened to us. We've been saying, stop race swapping. Go back and find some good characters and, give them a platform. But no, it was all a setup leading to using this character to introduce this agenda. That was the whole point.
Well, look at who's writing it. It's Vita Ayala, and Vita Ayala only knows how to write one character the way Brian Bendis writes characters. Self-inserts. And that's all Vita Ayala does. And at one point in time, Brian Bendis was maybe a man of relevance. That could be a subject of debate for another day. But since the last 10, 15 years, we're in this age of writers where they don't see characters with their own individual voices. They just see every character as one voice, and it's the writer's voice. We see that obviously what happened with the Tom Kings and the Tom Taylors of the world, and this is what Vita Ayala does. It almost feels like that's part of the job requirement. I almost wonder when I look at the application, was okay. Do you know how to write yourself to a character? Well, yeah, I am myself. I live in my own body. Of course I know how to write myself. They don't understand giving these characters their own voice. And I think they know that because that's why they give guys like Tom King these characters. Well, they're thinking, oh, well, they're less known characters. People aren't going to catch on because people start catching on later on when the middle of the Batman run happened right around the wedding, when the non-wedding happened, I should say, and they realized, oh, hey, Batman, Tom King's supposed to become Batman. Batman's not supposed to become Tom King, and that's where we have an issue.
Good way of putting it, man. Good way of putting it.
But there's more to that than anything else. I mean, this happens across DC. They canceled the show, Black Lightning, for no reason.
Yeah.
Was the best show they had.
That was a good show.
Now that's a character from my youth. I was 7 years old. I was 7 years old when Black Lightning came out. So if you want to know what an impressionable character is, that was one of them, right?
Too much masculinity.
And
too much, right?
1977, kids, that we had this amazing character, right? And yet they get rid of it for exactly the reason that Jane just said. He was too masculine. Yep. This beautiful character that is amazing,
a good dad.
Canceled. Exactly. I mean,
he's a great dad. He's a great dad, a great principal. He does great at his job. He works hard to build back a relationship with his wife and his family. You know, like it's a really good show. And to cancel that, to me, and I think you're about to go there, Culture. You already did, is that you're taking what I think we need to see more of, and mostly, I'm sorry, we need to see more Black strong men in roles like this where they are human beings and they live a life and they go to work and they take care of their kids. And by the way, he's a superhero.
Well, in everyday life, Jeff's a great human being to start with, right? In addition to being a superhero. So these are the characters I grew up with, right? And so when you can carry a stupid ass Batwoman show through multiple seasons with nobody watching it, and Black Lightning actually is getting some ratings, right?
Two different Batwomen,
compared to all the other craptasticness that's on CW, that pisses me off. It's the same thing. They canceled Luke Cage on Netflix, and I'm are you freaking kidding me?
But that was a little different, Black Lightning was it was different because they canceled all those shows because they were bringing everything in house.
But they didn't need to. They had 3 more years of that contract.
I know. I get that.
They were spiteful. They were spiteful is what they were. But I see where Culture is coming from. And yes, they should have kept it going. They should have milked up that contract. But as far as what that's worth. But yeah, they didn't care about that. They were so mad and spiteful that Disney was going to compete against them. Like, well, we're just going to say, screw your characters. We don't care anymore. So they tossed them all by the wayside, up to and including Daredevil.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
You got to do better, Disney.
Luke Cage was a great show. I like Jessica. I had no problem with that. Iron Fist was messed up. But hey.
But like Nikki said, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with Blade?
Oh, dude, Blade's already messed up.
They're going to make him a victim. There was a media article came out about a year ago where some guy, I've been trying to look for recently and I can't find it, where this guy was mad that they didn't, when they were talking about the Blade movie, they said, I don't like that this movie didn't talk about race. Even though being a vampire has nothing to do with, ethnicity. You're a vampire.
It was a kick-ass story with a character. You're right.
Yeah, I know. And it was. And the guy who wrote this media piece, he didn't like that they focused just on him being a badass hero. He didn't like that. He wanted them to focus on race, and that was his problem with the Blade movie. it just shows
That's messed
you
up.
how messed up these people are. And
Well, they
these
want
are
us still
these ins-
focused on it.
on projection of hate, fear, division. That's it's
Yeah.
sick.
Here's the weird thing, right? So the same guy that created Jeff Black Lightning created Luke Cage. He went from Marvel to DC to create this character, right?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was again, it pisses me off, this whole thing. It's like you get these fully fleshed out amazing superheroes that we could all identify with, right? Because it doesn't matter what shade you are, you identify with these characters.
Yes.
That's what pisses me off. Right? It's like,
Well,
it's
this
like,
is the real quick culture.
Why does it matter where they put their bathing suit parts? Why does that matter?
Right.
Why does it matter what their pigmentation is? Why does that matter? It doesn't. Everybody's having a human experience. It's the coolest thing Dave Chappelle said. In the moment, everybody's having their own human experience, right?
Even
Good,
if it's a
bad.
dick habit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dick habits happen. Well, listen, like Soul Assassin said earlier in the chat, he's like, one of his favorite characters of all time is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is white. He's Latino, and he never thought about it. Like Cyborg. I always liked Cyborg as a kid. Never really thought about him being black. Like, he's a cyborg, and like, I understand America still has undertones of everything that's gone on in our history, but people are trying. A lot of people are trying to move forward with this, trying to look past these things. Hope and talking about change is great and everything, but focusing on the divide and not how to bring people together is what makes me sad for the future. Stop focusing on how to divide us by race, gender, sexuality, and focus on how bring us together. Walton, read Tina Bojan's $5 super chat.
Question of the week. How many more live streams will it take for one of our panelists to tell Steven that his American flag is hung backwards?
Yeah, doesn't that mean he's in distress?
I didn't even think it was backwards. I was thinking at the top.
It's top, but the flag, the stars are on the other side.
Should it be on the other side?
Yeah, hold on.
I'll do it. I got
okay. Backwards though? Like, wouldn't that be backwards?
I don't know.
I don't know, but now I can change it.
Hold up.
Is your camera reversed though?
Yeah, your camera could be reversed. Hold up something we can read.
Yeah. Hold up anything.
There's nothing.
Just anything. Anything.
Hold something up.
What a great writer this guy is.
Oh, no. It's not reversed. You're right.
No,
he's an idiot.
He's an idiot. Yeah. That's it. All right. Thanks, Stephen, for being the idiot of the week. Toxic Man Flu. Toxic Man Flu for $10. And Tina, keep an eye on his streams and see if he changes it. Toxic Man Flu for $10. I can't believe this channel has survived this long. Literally, that makes two of us. That makes two of us. And then there was also another members chat, small time member for 9 months, hot pie level. Do not self-insert with a spork. Ooh, yeah. No. Unless you go handle first, I guess.
No.
Oh, my bad.
Whoa.
Okay. Here we go. A little bit more, and we might move on. Hold on.
All right. Here's words. I'll read them.
Thank you.
She was around for decades, but was only brought back to push social justice horses. Interesting.
Exactly.
Horseshit.
Well, yes, yes, thank you. Because as July observes, all they care about is what statements they make while running lore into the absolute ground. You know what? By the way, when he does this, when you hear him read it, it's way better than me reading it, just so you know.
And can we also stress this is coming from a black male? A black male.
There's also another book too, Nubia Real One by Ella McKinney, that also completely destroyed her backstory.
Really?
Right. Well, this is what I meant by that. Culture. I don't know what you meant. That was a little weird. But what I meant is this is a black male that's going against their narrative. So he doesn't fit the check box they want.
Man, no,
Someone like Jane doesn't fit the check box they want because she has...
We were just hanging out with Mark with a C, right? Mark with a C.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't fit.
Mark with a C.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I mean, none of the people that we hang out with, none of our friends, none of the amazing humans that I've met, we don't fit into any of these boxes, right? So instead of allowing for a true diversity with people who flip and I'm not cursing tonight, flip and disagree with you, this is the bologna sausage that we get, and I'm tired of it, man. I really am.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Gilkman, are you still here? I would have played the commercial.
Guilty.
Hey, everybody,
wait,
somebody's here.
Yeah.
We got somebody here, and it's ready. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let me put it on the big screen.
Hello, everyone.
What a beautiful soul.
Welcome, George.
How are you
Welcome,
doing,
welcome.
everybody?
How are you, my friend?
Doing well.
How's
my
everything?
friend. Going
Good, good,
great.
good.
Thank you for having me on again. I'm always glad to be here. Just was rushing to get here on time. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good, man.
How's everything going?
Oh, it's
Good.
beautiful.
Good.
We'll
bring you up to speed.
Yeah, we're having major meltdowns right now over DC Comics, and yeah, it's good times.
Excuse me,
I thought
Ken
y'all
Jack.
were doing more politics tonight. No politics tonight?
Oh, a little bit.
Ah.
Ken Jack Ben, I apologize, guys. Don't share it on Facebook. Just Twitter. Twitter's fine. Just share it there. Thank you. So no, George, what we're talking about right now, and I'll share it again. As I removed it. We are talking about okay, say it again. How did this happen again, Jane?
What part?
What's the story?
Oh,
story. These are men, right?
Yeah, so
Go
you
ahead.
have men who were killed by other men as a result of some sort of, whatever. And somehow, they are being reborn as Amazonian women.
Oh, really? Okay, so we're
And
not...
I don't understand the logic, but
no logic.
You don't try to understand. That's the thing. They don't want you to think about that. When you think about the logic, you're giving them too much credit right off the bat.
keep in
Angela have a headache.
mind, this didn't happen in its own separate story. It happened in the context of a graphic novel that was supposed to be centered around the character Nubia, Diana's sister. That's what it was supposed to be about.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yep.
But the problem is a lot of people keep thinking that that they're making mistakes. It's similar to the Eternals, because I saw it 2 days ago. And with the Eternals, you'd hear a lot of people, some normies are like, yeah, it was okay. I kind of liked it. And the other people are like, why the hell did they make that movie? How stupid are they? And I've been thinking, when you think about it with DC Comics or whether it's Marvel, we've said it a million times. They have an agenda, but what is the agenda? They want to wipe away the entire fan base that has supported them from the beginning. They want to clear that out completely.
Yeah, they want to replace us,
right,
George.
but how they want to do it by bringing in a new breed. See, I think they've calculated their bottom line. They're going to go, okay, we're going to lose X amount of money over the next few years, whether it's in the comic book industries, television series, streaming episodes, films. They're going to lose. They know that. But they're betting that they can divide people. Think about it. For the first time in years, you have comic fans like Sporking or Nick or Culture, myself, Jane, Tom, everyone. We're now split. You ever hear in our lives comic book fans or movie fans split? We'd argue about okay, is the Hulk stronger than Thor or is Thor stronger? That was our debates. Now we're talking about political agendas. So they divide, then they demoralize. And then slowly they want to bring in this creeping almost nihilism where everybody just can't take it. That's where this is going. So they're not making a mistake. This is calculated.
This is intentional.
Yeah,
That's why they went on their way to change the Eternals characters. One, they knew they wanted lesser blowback. They made it apparent. They said it directly. They want to change the characters. One, because they want to be about what they want, not to pay homage to the source material itself. This is just, as young Rippa said, these are vanity projects to them.
But the stupid thing with the Eternals was that they didn't have to. It had diversity.
No, they
to begin
didn't.
with.
But a lot of
They
comics have
to.
diversity. They do. All of our comics, come on, Star Wars had
But I
diversity.
mean the entire cast. They didn't have to change.
I know.
They didn't
Right.
agree.
But if they didn't have to, but if they didn't change it, then they couldn't take any credit for
They
making it more
want credit
diverse.
for it. They want
pronounce.
validation points. They're trying to please their peers. They're not looking to please audiences. They're trying to please each other within these media outlets. They want to please each other. But hey, look at what I did. And because of who can outwoke the other. And we're seeing it play on real time.
Well, where I think we should do is, how Gary always talks about go get back issues. You don't like any of the new stuff, go get back issues.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we need to take that same approach a lot of people want to say, I don't want to support this franchise anymore. You don't have to support the modern films. Go buy the old editions. Go buy the stuff you love, because because that's already stuff is sold. It's in the marketplace. It exists. You're not giving them a buck.
But that's why Disney's coming out with the Boba Fett.
Right, I know.
Right.
You saw they renamed that. I mean, how ridiculous.
See, that's the problem, George. It's they're taking those back issues and turning them into something completely different. So listen to what George is saying. Like, go get one of the best runs. Gary talks about it. I got one up there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the Frank Miller run of Daredevil.
Oh, beautiful.
Is one of my favorite runs of all time. This is like the last one I had after I got robbed. Luckily, that one was saved, but I used to have the whole run. What do you got, Nick?
Or you can also support the indie guys and back Sunsworn as well. I got my copy here. I'm finally going to be able to read it tomorrow. Yeah, as far as back issues, I also got the Ed Brubaker Iron Fist run because Danny Rand is the immortal Iron Fist. And you know what?
Not anymore.
Dude, this book
he was
excellent.
Right.
This book is excellent.
Hey, Grant.
It's so good. There's so much action. There's so much story. And you learn about the whole there's a whole layer of story with Kunlun and the tournament, and it's just God. I've read this thing so many times.
You know what's funny about that, Nick? What you just said. Think about it. That should prove to everybody that comic book fans and fans of comic book, but on they're the TV and the movie media. It's not about race or gender. Danny Rand in the show was a choking white dude, like he's supposed to be in the comics, and we all couldn't stand it because he wasn't good enough in the show. Great actor. He was on Game of Thrones. Loved him there. He played a flamboyantly gay knight, which fine. I liked him in the show, but as Danny Rand, he couldn't pull. You watch a Daredevil fight scene, and then you go and watch a Danny Rand fight scene in Iron Fist, and it was like night and day. That's what we're about,
and
right?
You know what's really weird?
Hold on.
What's the irony of it? He should be the better of the
All right,
two
I
fighters.
want to lead with something.
Okay, you lead in there, Mr. Grant Gregory.
All right. In the Iron Fist show, the characterization of Danny Rand was awful. However, the one episode where Danny Rand appeared in Luke Cage season 2, the one episode he was in, was the best episode of the entire season. And it showed you it was not an acting problem; it was a writing problem, because that one episode, Finn Jones actually felt like Danny Rand. He was happy. He was optimistic. He was full of zen. He was actually trying to he's trying to keep Luke Cage in check, and that's what Danny should be doing. He's supposed to be balancing out the masculinity of Luke Cage. He balances that out, and they're yin and yang. And it felt like that. It actually felt like a Power Man and Iron Fist like comic I was reading from the 70s with those two. And then the rest of the season happened. But,
the problem that was so disgusting about that is the fact that he admitted in an interview that for the first season they provided him with 1 week or 2 weeks worth of training.
6 weeks of training, which is still not even enough. He should have had like a minimum of a year.
I mean, Daredevil, he got much more. I don't know if it was 4 months or 6 months, but it was, you could tell the difference between his choreography and his body movement than you could Rand. See, these are the arguments we should be having. Which one fights better, looks better, is choreographed better?
Yes, agreed.
Well, I mean, with the whole Charlie Cox thing, he had on his previous films, he also had the extra training where the actor that played Danny Rand, he didn't. He was going into it completely stiff, like, because he didn't know any form of martial arts or anything like that. So, and it shows. And the sad part about it is because he's supposed to be the better of the two fighters. He's supposed to be one of the best fighters in Marvel. And to see what they did with him, it was a disservice to him as an actor, because the Heroes for Hire episode that you were talking about in Luke Cage was my favorite episode. I loved it because I finally saw him for him.
Yep, you guys are absolutely right. He is a great actor in when he's playing off the actor of Luke Cage. So the fight scene and the training really screwed him, and the writing really screwed him. Oof. They didn't give him any direction in that first season. He started to come a little bit into his own.
They tried to make him look like a moron. They made him look like he was capable of nothing, and that drove me in, and that was intentional. Because let's not forget, when they were promoting that show, and not just promoting that show leading up to it, but when they were announcing how they're going to make the show, they had doomed that show from the start because they kept talking about, why is Danny Rand? Why is they led with race? They didn't. This show was doomed from the start. And even if you had an actor who is far more capable than Finn Jones, it was still dead on arrival because of the way they were trying to give you the perspective of the show is he should be an Asian guy, but we're going to cast you a white guy anyway, just so we can hopefully get the nerds to shut up. But this show was dead on arrival, no matter who was casted.
Absolutely. And they were doing it purposely for the actress's name escapes me. The one who...
Finn Jones.
No, not Finn Jones.
The Colleen Chung.
Colleen Chung, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Colleen Wing. Yeah, her character.
Because you saw how she advanced. All of a sudden, she was...
The Iron Fist.
The Iron Fist, yeah.
Like, out of the blue.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Fist wasn't even Iron Fist in season 2. That's the sad part.
It was
You bring in Davos. I always get the names mixed up. The non-Doctor Who guy. Well, actually, technically he was the Master, but never mind. The non-Doctor Who name. They brought him in, and he was brilliant. He was brooding. He made me enjoy the series. But every scene that he wasn't in, and when it was focused on her, I did not like. I didn't like any of it. I felt like if you're going to put your lead in the back seat and then bring forth another character, like, what's the point of calling it Iron Fist?
They want the money off the name. See, that's when you know they want the money off the name, because they know if they called it the Colleen Wing experience, they know absolutely no one is going to watch. And that's not to be a diss on the character of Colleen Wing, because I am very well aware of the Daughters of the Dragon with her and Misty Knight, which has had some good moments in comic book lore. But once again, they need to have the name. That's why I do think when they do all these changes... They could earn their way, but they don't care about earning their way, because the idea of the hero's journey is my patriarchy. They want everything spoon-fed to you.
Walton, what do you think?
I think I like the character, and building off of another name is something that they've been doing for several years now, and it's not creative. It really isn't. I liked Iron Fist. You had a lot of fans out there like Ivan Ortega, another YouTuber out there, who was looking forward to that series and was so invested in it. And just the representation on screen of that character just deflates you. And that's what it does to a lot of fans of these properties, is when you see these characters that you're excited to see, and you're not given what you're expecting, or at least some version of what you're expecting. Then it kills the franchise. I mean, it does. And they do it over and over again. And I don't understand it. Like, not interested in money.
Another approach to
Go ahead, Jane. No,
another approach to it would be introducing the characters as individuals in the larger stories.
Yep.
Right.
You know, that would be reasonable. Then fans can get accustomed to them, start to like them, and have us actually ask, like, can we get a story for this character?
But they started to do that, you know, and we started to see that. That's why I like the Netflix shows, right? Because I got to see the characters I was like digging. Hell's Kitchen. Think about all the amazing street level characters we met in Hell's Kitchen, in the comic books, and then eventually in these shows, right? We got a proper Punisher, in my opinion, for the first time.
I agree.
Yes.
Barenthal rocked the box, man. Yes. And I was like, this dude's the Punisher we've been waiting for, right? He's not tall, right? He's not the statuesque guy that you see, like I forget that guy's name, but anyway, it's not one of those guys. This is the dude we have. He's hard as freaking rocks, man. If you want a good comic book, and here goes the shill part of the episode, guys, if you want a good comic book, somebody who's going to be on my stream tomorrow, the Sunday Culture Review, go and check out Bonds by our very good friend Miriam Noah. She made Yeah. We almost all of us have this book now. This thing is amazing. It really is.
It doesn't ship to Australia, unfortunately.
This is different. This is a strong female character that from
has to build up
to end. Yeah, there's bones in this thing, man. It's blood and bones.
But I think that's an important point that you made too about John, is that he doesn't look like the Punisher.
No,
he doesn't look like the character, but he pulls it off. He has the energy,
he's
he has the presence.
Absolutely, he pulled it with his acting.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, Jane, you hit it.
And he drew in the fans who might otherwise have been critical based on his looks alone.
Well, think about what. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, think about what Paulie from Latino Slant said last week when he talked about the movie coming out about Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
He said the family said, okay, so Javier Bardem does not look like Desi Arnaz.
Ricardo.
Yeah, he doesn't look like him, and people were upset. But the family said, but we felt like we had him with us. He became the character. You can look past looks, general
to an extent.
No, if you pull off the role, if you have that ability and you have already a magnetism and a presence, and you nail the character, I think people get sucked into it, and then they overlay. That's what I mean.
I agree to an extent. You gotta keep the thing orange. That's not even the thing is Ben Grimm orange, and when you take that away from, it's not the thing. Even with a good, talented actor, because we're invested in how the it's different, but that is the thing. I like to have my Reed Richards. I want my dad Reed Richards. I want my Johnny Storm baby blue boy eyes.
Right, Jane. I'm with Jane. When you pull someone who's that good, they just draw you in. There's nothing to say. I mean, Ben Grimm, you're talking about a physical characteristic that is a part of him.
Chickless's Grimm was really good, right? I mean, there's only a handful of people that can play that character. They have to have a particular look. They have to have a particular build. They have to look the right way, and you just they have to look they have to have that thing. But there are some actors that rise above the appearance, and I'm telling you right now, Barenthal did it.
Oh, Barenthal, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care what anybody says. Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man, right? The rest of these guys are the pretenders to that throne. And I don't care what anybody else
Amelia
says.
Clark.
You sound like the guys I remember going, there'll never be another Batman outside of Adam West.
In Game of Thrones, they completely... The Targaryens look nothing like what they're supposed to look
like.
But I believed Amelia Clark.
Yep.
As a Targaryen.
I did until the last season.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the first season.
I know. We have to always call it because it's like I was telling someone that the other day. I love Game of Thrones, and they're like, you did, except for the last season. It killed it for me.
Right.
Because they bought it, and they said, should I buy it? Well, I'm like, dumbass, you already bought it. Why are you asking? I said, it has.
I mean, there's a point about like not presenting characters correctly, because I just started watching Game of Thrones with my girlfriend, and she already knows. She has hardly knows anything about it. She already knows, okay, I know it's supposed to be good up until the last couple seasons. I'm like, you've already got that stink on you because the fans were so disappointed.
What bothered me is it has no rewatchability. I always will buy a series that I fall in love with. And once a year I watch them, and I tried this year to watch Game. I couldn't get past the second ep because I'm like, I know where it's going. It's like, what's the point?
Let me pull this point, and then Grant, if you have something to say. So Jane just put, Emilia Clarke as Daenerys.
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi, Daenerys, the unburnt, whatever you want to call her. She Stormborn. She was
Breaker
amazing. But when you take Breaker of Chains, Mother,
nice
Mother of Dragons. Mother of Dragons.
Hot as hell.
Friend zone.
Great butt. But the thing,
great many things. Let me
great
tell you.
many things.
There's a great many things.
Flasher of boobs.
Bless you.
But she is okay. So Targaryens are silver hair, violet or purple eyes.
Yeah.
These elf-like humans. That's fine. She had blonde hair. The contacts bothered her. She was a little short, but fine, whatever. But when you do now this prequel show, House of the Dragon, which we'll be doing reviews of and stuff like that, you have a character now that's a Valyrian, the people I just described, that's black with dreadlocks. That doesn't work, people.
Bizarre.
Very
that sounds
bizarre.
Racist.
And involved in a paternity dispute.
It is. They should have been white.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the excuse you're going to be given if you have a problem with the misrepresentation of the character. Or character.
Well, but it's another. I don't know. We're not talking about. It's another example though, of where they're using him as a platform to introduce a LGBTQ character and his son.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens? See, this is the thing.
Tell Jane.
This character. The angle with this character is that what they're saying is, okay, well, we don't know what the mother was. She could have been anything. Okay, fine, sure. So that means then that the father, this character should be Corley's. He should be biracial, right?
Yes.
If that's where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
This man
then
is.
his son should be like quarter black Garrett. He should be as white as snow.
Yep.
But that would violate what they're going for.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what they're going for is the black appearing character that's also effeminate
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and gay.
And
Can we get strong
but-
black men in film
Get
and
out.
TV shows again? I miss seeing a good strong black man.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
everybody
I'm
doing that.
Idris
You're also
Elba
missing.
wants to
You're
be.
also
we give-
missing strong straight white men.
straight.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
No, look at
Tom,
I like
please,
me
Tom.
some straight men.
Hey, Tom. What were you about to say, Tom?
I don't even remember anymore.
Elba,
job, Tom.
Idris Elba, or whatever.
No,
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing is, you can't have strong male characters because they don't want guys to look
Let
up
Tom
to characters
speak.
that give them strength.
No.
Let Tom speak for a second, because I wanted to hear where he was going with that, because it is there's a very small amount of strong black male actors right now. They're giving the chance to a very small group of them, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Absolutely.
what it is.
Well, look, here's my thing is like I've never had an issue with, changing the race or even the gender sometimes of certain characters as long as the character is fine. But the problem we keep seeing, kind of going back to what we were just talking to a little bit ago, is they'll add a bunch of stereotypes on top of it, right? It's not so much that they can't just make it a black character now. They got to make that character. Like my example I always jump to is look, and I know people love Into the Spider-Verse, but I'm sorry, they made Miles Morales more of a stereotype.
They did.
in that
Yes.
movie.
Right. I would
Yeah.
agree.
And
At least he had a good dad in there.
yeah, granted, but I rejected it, and people still flipped out on me. I'm like, look, all it is Peter Parker, but he loves to tag shit, and he's
Because
into
he-
rap.
yeah.
Right.
He's a
Right.
paint
It's
job
like,
Peter
how is that
Parker.
not anything but Peter Parker with added stereotypes?
The
Right.
new Batwoman is another example of that.
Batwoman's another example of that. And again, that's where you get this problem. Like, I don't care, if you're going to change the character and you're not going to draw a bunch of attention to it, then fine. Like, if it just makes sense with the character, it makes sense with the character. Just like, having Morpheus play Perry White, that makes sense. Lawrence Fishburne. Like, nobody questioned that.
No.
Why? Because he's the type
Exactly.
of actor that has the gravitas
Right.
that somebody like Perry White would have when they walk into the fucking room, because they are the editor in chief of the fucking Daily Planet. That's
yeah.
why, and I didn't question that, and nobody said a damn word about it. And I don't think anybody's going to say a word about Commissioner Gordon being black in this next
No.
Batman movie either. In fact, that'll probably be one of the movie's least problems.
Well,
Right.
and that's
but-
because
Nick Fury.
Wright can carry that character, but I know that we need to get
But
to the
hopefully,
super.
Yeah.
they
Real
won't just
quick,
go add a bunch of
because
stereotypes. Yeah,
I love how Toxic Man Flu
and
slid
that wasn't even
or
the point I was going to make
You
originally.
slipped it in. Were you going to say slipped
no,
it in?
I meant you, Walton. You slipped it in because Toxic Man Flu caught it. I caught it. Walton's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. My girlfriend and I are watching. Like, I got a girlfriend, guys. Toxic Man Flu for $5. Wait, Walton has a girlfriend that's human. I mean, she's actually.
everything you can to make sure we don't think he has a case.
Yeah, and her name is Ash Tosh. so
She
just
doesn't.
take that,
She
okay?
doesn't admit to it, but she seems like a sweet girl. But she does not admit that she's his girlfriend. Let's just say.
Well, with
She's a
you?
girl, and she's a friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I screw that up?
But does that make her his girlfriend? He's
And
off camera.
Walton's done. Walton is done. He's like,
hate
how
you.
can you?
It's like,
How can you
he
make
failed.
fun of me?
I
How
was
can you
like,
make fun of me?
Oh no, me feelings.
Guys, I had
shut
drunk
up, Dick
3PO.
Me enema kits. Me
Oh,
enema
my
kits.
God.
I had drunk 3PO and Mark with a C on. Don't make fun of me. I have a girlfriend.
God, you're killing him. You're killing him, Scott. Oh my God.
You're my friend.
Did y'all see Eternals yet? Did anyone here see Eternals?
I did.
But
I
Okay.
did.
You know one of the mistakes that
Okay, hold on real quick. Spoilers, people, for the Eternals. But who
If you
gives a
even
shit?
care.
I don't.
care.
Well, one of the
George says,
mistakes-
if the first mistake is beyond this movie was made, then I'm not so sure what else.
Yeah.
to say.
No, but I'm talking. Yes, the movie was made. They made it for a reason. But I'm talking about when you look at it thematically. They made the mistake that I think DC made when they made BVS. Is you had these characters that no one knew, right? And all of a sudden they start killing them. And I was watching the audience, and people were just kind of like, "Huh?
Well,
when you-
yeah,
when you-
there
but
was
when
no
you see
weight
it-
to the
Right,
situation.
of course
They
there
were
was no
expendable.
emotional
It reminded
Right.
like the 2016 Suicide Squad, where when Slipknot dies at the beginning, you don't care. You don't give a shit. So it's like, why am I supposed
Right.
to care? Especially when Ajax is supposed to be a very prominent character in the Eternals. And when you see her in these flashbacks, you don't even care because you already know
You
that
already
she's
know the
dead.
result. Yeah.
You already
Right.
know the rest. You're like, why am I supposed to care about this now? Why are you showing me
But
things?
they told
could
you in the
build up to
beginning
her death.
crawl that she was important.
Right.
That's why
Yeah,
you're
that's-
supposed to care because they told you.
Right, but there
You
was no
still gotta
emotion,
show
there was
me.
no
Don't
time
just
for
tell me.
emotional.
Show me. Show
I
me
think-
why she's important.
I think if they had wanted this to succeed beyond agenda, I think they would have done something similar, at least with some of the core characters, build them up, give them singular films, like they did with the Avengers. You know, you got Cap, then you had Iron Man, then you had Thor, and then boom.
And
This time
some
they
of
threw
them
everyone.
interact with Avengers, so why not introduce them slowly
See?
in Avengers?
I
films?
agree, Jane, completely.
They
What were you
could
gonna
just
say,
done
Grant?
5
What were you gonna
characters.
say?
Any of the Thor movies, they could have introduced them. There's so much material that they have there that they deliberately didn't use. What's the point of introducing a character and showing us and then killing off and then go, you have to care about it because. No,
Right.
you show me why I got to care. Like,
But
don't even put her in there.
That's-
Why race change? Why swap sex change and then just to get rid of it for no reason? It made zero sense.
But
Like,
but that's the whole point. And you recognize this, and many of us do. This is why we all end up together talking about it.
Yep.
It's because look, these characters could have been introduced in an entirely different way that would have made you care about them. But when you
Right.
go into the theater, based on everything I'd seen, everything I was told, the elements I was given before this film was even anywhere close to a theater 2 years ago, I was like, this thing's gonna suck, and it's for this entire rainbow of reasons. See, I'm using that on purpose.
Oh, that was good.
But it's they didn't do the characters. They did everything they could to not represent these characters. They did everything they could to not present them in a way that you would make them care, and you would make anybody care. You don't care about any of these people. You're not
Right,
gonna.
of course not.
You're gonna go into this theater, and I know George had this experience, and many of the other people who saw the film. You went into the theater, you had no expectations because they had already been lowered to the freaking ground, and you know what? And they somehow managed to limbo underground to get under your expectations for the film, and that's okay. It's not. This is the kind of stuff that is continuing to happen with all of these things that we know about that maybe the greater populace doesn't, but they're not intrigued by it. Do you know how I know? Because they're artificially holding the score high on
those are
frickin' Rotten
bots.
Tomatoes.
Those are bots.
And
That's why it's
they're-
called Rotten Tomatoes now.
Well, it's true. But look, even the shills, even the paid shills that are supposedly these critics,
Right.
they can't even elevate this film
Of
to
course
anything
not.
higher than the lowest kind of whale shit.
Look,
It is
look,
bad news.
You
They
know,
even-
go, Jane.
They should have gave Campier a bigger gift basket, plain and simple. Give it a better score.
I was gonna say they had they had the building blocks
Yeah.
of a good story. Even with the changes they made, they could have gone in a certain direction and they chose not to. Like with Sprite, for example.
Yeah.
Right.
They gender swapped it to a girl. Okay, fine. So they're dealing with this idea of this immortal child female, sort of like Interview with a Vampire,
Right.
that character.
Claudia.
And she's struggling with wanting to be an adult, wanting to grow up, wanting to have a relationship and children and a family. And they gloss right over it. It's like,
Which is such a compelling. Oh wow.
It was. That's the
interesting.
best story. To
Yeah.
see 7,000 years, they should have spent an hour and a half on that.
What characters were interesting? These characters all suck. They
But they
didn't know
could
how
have
to
been
be
better.
heroes. They were all villains. They were all confused about what they were with their personalities. You watch them, you're like, granted, they're not superheroes technically, they're gods. But
Are they even
there's
that?
not a moment
Yeah.
exactly. They don't feel heroic at one moment in the movie. And a lot of these characters, they don't have a person. I don't recognize the personalities. And yes, I've read the original Kirby's Eternals run, and I see these personalities not just obviously when you take out the look of the character, but when you change their personality, that's not there either. Like Druid is supposed to actually be a villain, but they for some reason made him
Right.
part of the team. Which is
Here's-
dumb.
And he's a sad boy the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, he's a sad boy. He's supposed to be a jerk.
How,
He's
who
supposed to be a
saw it?
jerk.
Who saw it?
And then
I
they did
saw
Icarus
it. I
30
saw
as
the
well.
movie.
Okay, can
Yeah.
I didn't even see it, but
I
when
saw
I
the movie.
hold on everybody, when I saw this spoiler coming, when I
Yeah.
heard that they're actually like androids,
Oh, that's from the Neil Gaiman run. That's from the
Okay,
Neil.
I
I saw
didn't-
that, and that's a terrible run, by the way. If
Right.
fuck that comic's existence.
Okay.
Yes, you could say, oh, it kept in the comics. You're right. I get it. Fine, I'll concede that. But that shit sucks so fucking
Right.
hard. Romita Jr.'s art sucks. Gaiman's writing in that
Right.
shit sucks.
The-
But anyways,
the
neither
problem
here
is
nor
The
there.
problem is they, if you look at it again, look at the casting for the Avengers film, right? Almost all of the actors had been leading men or leading women. Johansson, Evans, Robert Downey Jr. And these are all Angelina Jolie. Salma Hayek has been a co-star her whole life. Jolie has done 3 or 4 leads.
Yeah, but dude, we needed a
And she doesn't
gay
do anything
one-legged
wrong.
Asian.
But my point is, this was held up. The main core are all co-stars. They put they put co-stars into
Exactly.
leads.
And
It's
Angelina
the
Jolie
co-star of the
is-
movie.
Angelina Jolie was one of the better characters. I loved her. She had the look down pat. Her
Right.
costume was right. And
you're
she
more
was
generous.
broken
You didn't think
for
she
most
was
of the
flat?
movie.
Didn't you think
Wait,
she was
say-
flat? Like,
Say that again.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see what you
they-
did there, George.
They completely undermined her character.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They did undermine her character. She's
I
supposed
agree.
to be she's supposed to be someone who brings people up, and she did not. She's just someone who had ravaging mental issues the same way Wanda Maximoff did
Right.
in WandaVision. And then also you have Cersei. If let's just put
Who
it this way,
can't
if the Ninja Turtles have Michelangelo as their life of the party, Cersei is the life of the party in the Eternals. That was not there for Cersei.
No.
I don't recognize her personality. Maybe Gemma Chan is a good actress. Maybe
not.
she is.
She's
But
not.
I don't know. I don't know.
In the
Once
entire
again,
movie.
She always
neither
plays
here nor
robots.
there.
I don't get
But
it.
when I see her, I don't see Cersei. I see someone who plays Cersei
Right.
in name only. And that's what a lot of these actors and actresses are. They're the characters in name only. And Sprite is probably the closest one to personality-wise was Sprite. Sprite was a little bit of a bratty type in the books. That's the closest you got.
But here's the thing.
Sprite's Loki light.
Right. But by all descriptions, and Grant, you can go next, buddy. But by all descriptions, right, Sprite's the only character in the movie you care about. Right. And here's how much apathy people have for this film now, and they are going to continue to have, because word of mouth is complete shit. And tomorrow we're going to talk about this film.
But I thought it was
extensively.
86% on
No.
Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
It ain't budged.
Go look at the
Sprite's-
Cinema Blend score. Yeah.
Well, yes, George, tell them about Cinema Blend and how that actually works versus Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you can tell them better than that. I don't know all the mechanics of Cinema Blend.
Yeah,
Please, go ahead.
so between,
And then read this when you're done. Read this when
sure,
you're
sure.
done.
So between Cinema Blend and a few other things like Metacritic, you actually get an aggregator. With
Right.
Cinema Blend and a few others, you actually get like on the ground reporting in a way of actual people coming out of the film telling you what they think about it. CineScore is the same way. There's a few others. They actually do what you would do at a polling place.
Could we read some of
Yeah.
those?
Yeah, you can read them, you just go to
if
Cinema Blend.
you just have to go find them. But yeah,
Okay.
and it's one of those things. It's like, it's okay. So we were talking about this. Tom and I, we were doing this the other day. It's like, yeah, this film totally sucks balls, but representation B-.
Yeah.
And it's and that's the problem with this thing. It's like, okay, critics know this thing's terrible, but but because they can show you,
Right.
magic checkbox button
Well, it's
mobile.
similar to
Did you
Captain
see
Marvel. Did you like Captain Marvel when you saw the Cinema Blend scores and you looked at them? They were saying like, "Did you like it?" No, but I liked how it ties into Infinity War.
Yeah, it tied into something. Yeah, and Tom,
No,
go.
it didn't. No, I was just gonna say, if you guys watched Friday Night Tights, you saw the thing I brought up about just before I came in there or whatever, and they brought it in there. Like I sent it. It was basically they were making a Variety, I think it was, Variety, where there was this guy out there making excuses for the bad reviews. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, dude,
And they're
that
saying,
is
oh, they're just being
priceless.
hard on it because it was a female director.
Right.
Dude,
Patty
that-
Jenkins
okay,
hasn't
this is-
worried about
Who
the first
knows?
Wonder
Who
Woman.
knows
But that's the problem. It's like this guy who looked like he had every
He was
soy
talking about
latte
the critics,
on the
not the
planet.
fans, Jane. The critics.
Right. He's talking about
Yeah, dude, I'm serious. This guy looked like he had consumed all the soy on the planet for an entire
Right.
year.
Let me see if I can find that clip. Yeah.
It was incredible. And I'm going, dude, that is not the problem, because Chloe Zhao won a freaking Oscar with freaking Nomadland, right? Which is same whale shit
Horrible
boring
film.
sadness
Yeah,
that this
horrible
film
film.
became.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. You took an art house director and put him into a Marvel film.
Yeah,
that's
she wanted to be Denis Villeneuve and then do a superhero film. You're like,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
need to stop you.
It
First
looked
of all,
like
she's not
Zack
even a
Snyder's
director.
Justice League.
Yeah,
Even
but it's the
worse.
same thing.
Fucking
If you were to
director.
put
She's a
someone like-
Oh, I
goddamn
know she
camera
isn't.
person.
Just a second, Tom.
Exactly.
Just a
There you
second,
go,
Tom.
Guys,
Grant,
everybody,
Grant.
yeah, let Grant and then Tom, please.
Yeah.
I was saying it's just the same as like if you put someone like Catherine Bigelow in there, and then the movie was shit. She would take it to like I make bad movies, I make good movies. She's in the same position, but she's seasoned, so she's able to know. Chloe isn't. That's the problem. She's still very young and had her success quite younger, and I think it comes down to the fact of the matter is that if she was in the industry a little bit longer, she would have done one thing that they couldn't done. She would have been able to make the movie she wanted, because there's no way in the world that Disney's gonna say we're gonna say no to an Oscar-winning director. We're not going to say no to a person of our Asian descent. We're not going to say no to a female, because that's going to completely destroy the narrative. If she was a little bit more seasoned, she would have been able to make the movie, because there was parts of the movie that I didn't hate. I enjoyed certain aspects of the film. I just think that she was thrown in way too early. There is a great director there who can do this film way better. I just think it's like in boxing when they throw someone in against a champion too young and they get destroyed. That's what I think happened with her.
All right, real quick, I got to read
the
this,
film.
Tom. Tom, before we lose this, could you read this? Can you read the super chat?
Walton, her name is Ash. Like an ash tree?
Yes, thank you, Terminus, for picking that up. Appreciate
$2. Love you, man. Love
Thank you,
man.
Terminus.
All right, Tom, go with it.
Go, buddy. You had it.
Well, I can't find the video now. No, all I was going to say is Chloe Zhao is not even a fucking director.
No,
right?
she's a
Like,
camera.
look at the shit she has made. She basically has an actor come in, pretend to be a real person, and interact with real people.
Oh yeah,
That's been her gimmick so far.
She is
so all she does is point the camera.
No, she's 1,000% a cinematographer, Tom, and
Yeah, she's not a fucking director.
Yeah, no, that's the whole point. And you know, when you said that the other night, I'm like, that's probably the most astute thing I've ever heard. This is a person who knows how to make something look amazing, but that's it.
But that's
You
the
can't.
thing.
They don't. Go ahead.
She didn't write this thing all by herself.
No,
there was
it
a
was
team
all.
of writers. So I blame the writers when the story doesn't.
But it was
work.
all
Yeah, that's
baked
true,
in.
Jane. But the other side of it is most people are saying is that the characters are not emoting. The actors are putting out shitty
Which is a
performances,
director problem.
which is all on the director. Yeah,
No, absolutely. It's even blocked. Half the
I
scenes were
disagree
blocked
with that.
wrong.
I mean, I disagree with that only because there were certain actors who weren't emoting, like Gemma Chan, for example, who had the same face throughout the movie, no matter what was happening.
But she never
yeah,
But
yeah.
you had
But
Barry
she's an
Keoghan
actual
did a
robot,
great
that's why.
job.
Yes, but
Who did a great job?
Barry Keoghan, I
Keoghan.
thought
Okay.
he was really emotional.
Yep.
He did really well. Brian Henry could have, if
Wow.
they gave
He
him
could.
an emotional scene.
But
Brian Henry could have been good if he wasn't so loaded on soy. God, he
Oh,
was
man.
a bitch.
Yeah,
in
they
that
We're
movie.
talking about
Exactly.
acting though, but I could see Jane's part. That my problem with Gemma Chan, I really don't know why they cast her. She always plays the same automatons. She just did it. I keep bringing it up. A BBC role that was
Humans.
on Humans for 3
Humans.
seasons. Same thing. You want to see her character? Go watch Humans. It's
She's amazing. She is amazing in that because she's a freaking android. She's
Right.
a robot. She's
but
a
it's
robot.
the same performance. That's what I'm saying. It's
Exactly. But she's meant to be like that in that show.
No,
she
I'm
just
saying
doesn't.
it's the actress. She doesn't have range. is
That's what
saying.
I'm agreeing with you.
Gotcha.
She. It's like old Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the same person. He's Keanu Reeves in everything he does. He's gotten
But
better
he does a great
as the
British
year.
accent.
Right. Yeah. He's done a lot better as he's gone on. But like the beginning of Keanu Reeves' career was, like, what's up, dude?
Dude, I am Keanu.
go ahead. Yeah.
I'm
there
Keanu.
You go. There you go. Now, Jenna,
You
she
don't
was
know how to do a
amazing.
Keanu voice at all.
All right, dude. Keanu Reeves, bro. I caught my first wave today, sir. Caught my first wave.
There's a bomb on the bus.
You know, if they
Gotta go
if they
above
did-
55.
If they didn't have
50.
Spider-Man Far From Home coming up next, I would think this would be really great for us because it's a nail in their coffin, but they're going to bury it, unfortunately, with Spider-Man Far From Home. They're gonna say,
Well, let me ask this of the panel. Was this as bad like, did people feel they needed to see this like Captain Marvel before the other Spider, like
not at
Endgame?
all.
Was that any of this? Because like I didn't feel it. Like
No.
I thought I had to see Captain Marvel before Endgame, and I
Right.
found out I didn't. Did anybody go into this thinking, okay, you have to see the Eternals before Spider-Man? I don't think so. This was a stinker in its own. Like there was no saving this. They had to play that. They should have played that Endgame card too.
Right.
Like you have to see this. That's the only way I think they would have won. But
They
They
Should
should
make a better
have,
story.
but here's the thing. They put this movie. Here's the thing. It's because they announced this movie the way that they did. Because one, obviously, when they announced it, it was originally a response to Warner Bros. Doing New Gods, which obviously never panned out. So now they wanted to, because know how Marvel loves to have their first, the first woman, the first black, the first this, that. They needed to say, oh, we put the first Kirby flick. So they fast tracked this motherfucker and say, we got to make sure we get that. Don't think about where it's going to plan to start. We need to get this flick out because all they cared about was the first.
But Nick, wait. The best guy with the best take here is this guy right here.
yes,
Tell him why this happened.
please.
Tom.
That's Tom.
He's so hot.
He'll be back.
He doesn't
Tom
even have to
took a nap.
speak.
What did I do now?
Tell them what happened with
You have the best take on the
why
internet.
why this was made as a Kirby thing before the other Kirby thing. Tell them why.
The stopper my mom will shoot.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I
back
didn't
in the day,
understand
for
that.
those who remember, Sylvester Stallone made the movie Stopper My Mom Will
Right.
Shoot.
Oh, yeah.
He made it basically because he thought Schwarzenegger was interested in making it, but Arnold wasn't going to make it. It was one of the 3 scripts that Ivan Reitman had given him as a possible script to work with Danny DeVito on. And it just happened to be there. And he's like, watch, I can get that stupid motherfucker to make a stupid movie. Just watch. And
copy
he
idiot.
made this deal. And Sly's like, well, I can't let him do the movie. I'm going to do that movie. And then it ended up being a big fucking flop. And it basically like killed Stallone's career for a couple of years until he did Copland. And it was like, this big fucking joke on Sylvester Stallone to make this movie. So I feel like Warner Brothers basically Stopper My Mom Will Shooted Marvel into making this fucking movie because they were never going to make
New
The
Gods.
New Gods.
No,
they
were
would
never going to make. In
they would
fact,
not
I
follow
said this
through
a
with
few
that.
times back then. If you go back and listen, if you find anytime I was on panels, I said, because I know somebody who knows Ava DuVernay personally. And they said
Okay.
flat out, nobody can fucking stand her, but they won't say it to her face. First
Right.
of all.
Oh,
Because
what
she's
a
a
shock.
complete uppity bitch.
Didn't she
And
just
secondly-
blame? I'm sorry. I was just going to ask you. Didn't she just blame Zack Snyder for not being able to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
New Gods?
Yeah,
She
which is
did.
Yeah,
bullshit.
she threw
That
him under
movie
the
was
bus.
never. That's what I was saying. That's bullshit. That movie was never going to fucking happen. Even though she may not have been aware of that, people around her were well aware that the only reason she got that deal is just so Warner Brothers could say they were working with Ava DuVernay because she was a hot fucking name at the time.
Right.
'Cause remember,
Which
this
I don't
all came out
understand.
at the same time as fucking that movie that came out that wasn't made for white people.
Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
understand why they got
Wrinkle in
you
Time.
a pop when it bombed.
It was because you were old, not necessarily white, but it doesn't matter. It's just
She was a hot topic in the press. Though,
Ex-
just before-
I got you.
exactly.
I got you.
But this is never. Here's the thing: they paid all those actors money up to get that thing together. They wrote them checks, right? They didn't write them the full run checks, but they all got paid for this thing they were never going to make in the first place. This happens a lot. And look, they wrote checks to, or they will write checks to people that they've promised sequels to films that are never going to get sequels. For example, Cruella 2 and certain things like that. That thing's never, that's fucking dog meat. That's never getting made.
But what does that? What does that have to do with the? I'm trying to understand. You're saying that the Eternals was that?
No.
Eternals
New
was a
Gods.
joke.
Yeah,
Eternals
no.
was Feige's response to New Gods.
Okay, but
Yeah,
okay.
that-
He's
that's
like,
what it
okay,
was.
they're gonna make New Gods because everything that Feige does is a response.
would've
This
been
is the
good.
funny thing is like, for some reason, at some point, and I believe it was around Civil War ish, Feige decided instead of paving the road that he began with
Mhm.
Jon Favreau and all those guys, he
That's it
decided
right there.
to take a big fucking U-turn and take a look at what DC was doing, and they're like, oh, they're doing BBS? Well, we'll do Civil War. Oh, they're doing this? We'll do that. Oh, just like Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh, they're bringing back Michael Keaton? Well, we'll bring back everybody into Spider-Man.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the Eternals. He heard, oh, they're making New Gods. Well, we'll take Kirby's Eternals, which is basically New Gods redo.
Why is he doing that if he had a formula that
this
worked?
Is why. This is why. Because
hubris.
this is what I believe. It's because he pushed out everybody else that had a voice of the direction of the MCU.
Well,
Favreau.
Perlmutter. Grant is right too. It's hubris. It's hubris because it's all about beating DC. Notice every time they do something, it's to counteract something that DC is doing.
Well, yeah, Tom. That's why they've been bitter since DC beat them with Wonder Woman before Captain Marvel. They were pissed about that. So now they're like, we can't let that happen again. So they need to continue to have all their first. They are. That's what I was trying to say earlier. They want to continue having first. So once they saw that, obviously they saw New Gods. They're like, oh crap. We gotta get our Kirby out and say we had the Kirby out first. They care about the first. Little did they realize they were at the first rotten movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, isn't it like
that's a first?
Okay.
That's a good thing. You got to give them to them. They got it first. I mean,
they got it first.
Feige's biggest problem is he thinks DC stands for don't copy, so he has to try and do it.
Oh, that's good. It's almost like, you know how different like CBS, NBC, ABC, they'll all come out with like a volcano apocalypse show, or like they all came all at the same time. Like
Alien invasion.
Dante's Peak.
Dante's earthquake. Volcano.
Yeah, Dante's Peak. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it came up with all those
hubris,
things.
though, because it's like Feige saying, "Oh, you can do that with these big, huge characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Well, watch me do it with a bunch of nobodies." And outside of the incident with Captain Marvel versus Wonder Woman, he has won each and every one of these battles.
Yes.
I mean, even look at Eternals. It's basically everybody's saying it looks like it was shot by Zack Snyder. There's a fucking reason for that, because they were trying to emulate what Snyder was doing. That was the whole.
He wanted to do that better. He wanted to do it better.
You hit it right on the head, Grant.
Did they have Hallelujah in it?
Oh God, I hate that. You know what? Here's the thing.
Should have. It would have made it better.
Right? It would have made sense.
Actually, it would have fit more in this film.
That's true. Let me read this real fast so that we can take care of the man who's going to go do Forza. Mockety Draws, our good friend Mockety90, who is, he's terribly shy of 1,000. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Mockety, if you haven't checked out his channel, please do so for $5 American dollars. He says, "Hail to the chat, this amazing panel. I gotta go set up my Forza stream. Much love to you all. Hashtag we rise together," which is the truth.
Mockety, we'll send them over to you after we're done, buddy. If that's on your channel.
Yeah. Hey, Walton, it's been a while since you said words. Say something.
Words.
Thank
Go
you.
check out Mockety Draws. Please, guys, subscribe to that man. He's a great person.
Okay, now we have to highlight the lady on the panel.
Hi, Jane. Real quick, can you answer this? Because I think Ruben. Did you have something, Jane?
No, I was going to ask her a question, and then you interrupted the shit out of me.
I was going to ask her a question too.
Well, you go first. It's your damn show.
It is my show, but thank you for running it most of the time when I'm not here. Ruben Christopher Haynes, who's a newer member of the channel, thank you very much for being a member. He has two here, and I love it. Here is why Marvel sucks. Answer this question: who are the Eternals? Name all of their powers. But then he goes on. You can't offhand, but you know their skin color, their disabilities, who they fuck, and preferred pronouns. What the hell is this hot garbage?
That's brilliant, Ruben.
Jane, does that answer what the Eternals are? Is it another, like, it's more about what they are than what they're bringing to the characters?
I think that's how they marketed it. The problem is that the story itself is so devoid of anything. It's so shallow and empty with respect to each of the characters that you don't even get a woke message. It's just emptiness. It's nothing. Even the character they turned gay, right?
Yes.
There's no tension. There's no genuine love or affection.
Feel nothing.
That makes sense.
It's like they're all two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe. Well, and
that's too generous. They're one-dimensional.
You know what's sad is
perhaps
the
that
best
was a
gay
choice.
You know, what's sad is that the best gay relationship I've seen in movies in the last, I don't know how many years, nobody ever talked about. It was in the Elton John movie.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
gonna
ever
s-
talks about that. And that was the first gay love scene on screen in a movie before, too, by the way.
Oh,
And
wow.
yet nobody fucking talks about that shit. But you actually get
What
into
about
that. And you
Brokeback?
understand how Elton John.
No,
yeah,
no,
but
no,
that was
no,
all
no,
in the
no, that's
shadows
not
and
a
shit.
look.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
that was-
best,
I was talking about sausage.
yeah,
Like
no,
they flat
no,
out just showed them
yeah,
going
well,
to town.
I
pretty
thought
much, yeah.
I thought the Liberace
Liberace?
yeah,
that
the
was a
Liberace.
TV
I
movie,
think-
though.
That was
but
a
did
TV
good job,
movie.
I
It
thought
Yeah.
it
was
was
very, very
Liberace.
well done on Liberace.
Behind the
Liberace.
candelabra or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
behind, yeah,
Candelabra.
exactly. Yeah,
You
the
had-
Oh, that's
candelabra.
the one
yeah.
with the Michael Douglas. That one.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon and
Michael Douglas.
might have been
Yeah,
Michael Douglas.
But it
It
was-
was
it
Michael
was-
Douglas, yes.
It was so well done. I mean, look, it's oftentimes that the TV movies don't rise to something that you would see in a theater, but HBO has this penchant for making incredibly engaging entertainment, and with that, they really did. You know, they told you
Yeah,
a story,
you
and whether or not it was bullshit or not, I don't even know. But that was engaging, and the relationship was believable, right? And even
yeah.
all the twisted about the relationship was believable. And you know
See-
what? Human beings, to a certain extent, some of us are really bent out of shape, right? We are twisted MFers,
Yes.
right?
For the most part.
So you could connect with these people, these characters, this stuff, right? Even though you're like disgusted by it, or it doesn't it's not your particular color of crayon, but at the same time, that's a well done relationship. It defines it all. You can have well-defined relationships, whether they be heterosexual, homosexual, whatever it is, and those relationships can be well-defined in television, in film, in literature. It's not hard to do,
Right.
and yet these people struggle like they're Sisyphus all the time trying to solve this problem that they're never going to
good.
solve.
And the
Just
thing is,
problem.
even if you had given him the wife, the problem is that there was no emotional connection between the
Right.
characters. I mean, this guy who had given up on all of humanity, right, and for good reason,
Right.
had found one human that he actually loved and had a connection with, formed a family, and now he's being asked to leave them to save the world. You
All right.
would think that alone would be compelling. As compelling as Sprite's potential story. And yet they left it out. They just left it on the table.
Right,
Just
but
money,
they-
tell me the
interest.
truth.
They left a lot. They should have gone back and their entire lives, 7,000 years.
That was a long time.
That to me should have been at least an hour and a half. The
Well,
story, that especially
well,
with
yeah,
Chloe's out,
but you
you
had-
had
And
the
shit,
richness.
this
One
should-
at a time. One at a time.
Well,
One at a time.
You have this
All right.
rich history where you could have gone through the world, how they saw it, almost kind of like a Heinlein, Stranger in the Strange World, how they viewed humanity from its evolution. That's
Yep.
I
And,
think
and
they missed that.
George, you have a great point there, because they could have did like what Highlander does. Something reminds him of his past.
Yes.
Something brings him back to his past. But they didn't do that. What were you going to say, Walton? Nodding.
Exactly what you just said.
Oh, no
yeah,
shit.
They
All
should
right.
have done it like Highlander. I
Yeah.
mean, and it really it
Yeah, I
should
mean,
have been
have a
longer
clean
than it was,
soundtrack.
because you need time in order to flush out characters that old, the connections,
Yeah.
the depth of those characters, and that it takes you out of it. It takes you out.
Flash.
Wait, flesh out the characters or flush out the
Ro-
characters?
robot out. I think he didn't mean flesh out. Robot
Flush
out.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Very quickly,
Nothing-
Walton, read these.
Yeah, please
Sure.
read
Hey,
them.
panel, just to let you know, I have been permanently banned on Twitter over nothing. Third ban in the last 30 days. Targeted. I have no idea.
Wow.
Normie, set up a Discord so everybody can connect with you. All right, man. If
Yeah.
and there's that,
And
then-
there's also Getter, or GETTR, or Minds, or
Mr.
You know?
Gregory says,
Yeah.
I love this panel. F you all.
how much
Dude,
you
man, what's
read
that
read
to me?
words that he sent? Like it's
he sent a
orange,
good
dude.
amount of money too, dude.
Yeah,
You
Jesus,
read
All
that.
right. I love this panel. Fuck
Read it
you
in
all.
Australian, too.
Yeah, Australian.
Where's
Mr.
the
Grant-
appropriated accent?
Yeah, Mr. Grant
I
Gregory. I'm
love
very
this panel.
sorry.
Fuck you all.
There you go. That's the way.
Thank you.
I
I'll
love
take it back.
I
That was
love this
offensive.
panel because we
We
all
should-
just talk at the same time.
Yeah, we
all
should all
just
just
talk at the
date
same
it.
time.
Tom brought us gold. Damn it! Here
Yeah,
it is.
let's see Tom.
All right, finally found this fucking clip.
Oh,
Oh,
good,
this
good,
fucking
good.
moron.
This
I love
guy.
these.
Who wins the medal for mental gymnastics this week?
Eternals from director and co-writer Chloe Zhao has opened in theaters critics
Why
have
is he
weighed
stuck?
in on it, and it has been very divisive.
sorry.
Actually, drawing the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes score of any MCU film in history thus far. First of all, Elizabeth, it is not a bad movie in the slightest. I think it's one of Marvel's best efforts thus
They'll
far.
say that for the
As
next
Wow.
But it's like because you
Wow.
like it,
Story.
nobody can dislike it.
Diverse, has great characters.
He looks like he's eating
all
a
that.
hamburger.
Does that with
I
a
think
lisp
this speaks
too.
to a larger problem that is in the industry. Anytime a woman takes on the action genre,
Need
which
to
has
take
been
that
Here we go.
made for
Wait a
men
minute, go
to
back
helm,
up a
people
little
come
bit,
harder
Tom,
on that
and
filmmaking
play that
when she
again.
takes it on. I think it's the issue that
She
needs.
looks hungry.
I think this speaks to a larger
She does.
problem that is in the.
They all
industry.
need a
Anytime
cheeseburger.
woman
Everybody be
takes on
quiet for a
the
second.
action genre, which has been typical.
Sorry.
All right.
I think
I
this
just
speaks
want-
to a larger problem that is
Yeah.
in the industry.
Okay, everybody talk now before I hit play.
No, what I want Tom to play is this part. This is where they turn on. Okay, everybody's against it. This is the reason why. Now, if you go against the Eternals, you're this. Insert racist or sexist or
What's the
genderphobe
this?
here.
Well,
Well, you're
what's
going to hear
funny
it.
is the mental gymnastics is he's talking about critics here, folks, not
Right.
us. Not
That's the
fans.
craziest part.
Well, you got to
No,
get
they're-
those critics in line. You can't
They eat
have them
their
out there
own.
not staying
They're
on
eating
message.
their own, exactly.
Right.
yes.
That's always what
Critics,
happens
critics
to
can't be
lefties.
critical. It just doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
You remember lefties, as long as they don't have an enemy, they'll start eating each other. That's just
So yeah,
period.
there's only like 30 more seconds
Well,
left.
they will always need a dragon to slay.
Has great characters, all that. I think
Yeah,
this speaks
right.
to a larger problem
All
that is in the industry. Anytime a woman takes on the action genre, which has been typically made for men to helm, people come harder on that filmmaker when she takes it on. I think it's
When?
the issue
Oh, my
that
head
needs to be
Catherine
addressed,
motherfucking
because it does
Bigelow.
not draw that criticism that it's
Okay,
meant to.
stop it right
I
here.
agree with
Really,
you
Snyder?
100%.
They
right when you
shellacked.
started talking about this, I said,
Okay, the fact that it's one thing when this moron says this shit. The worst part about this shit than this fucking moron saying it is the people who are gonna believe it. They're not gonna look
Right.
into this like they're not gonna be.
That's
they're-
it.
No one's gonna say, "Hey, what about this? Like when this that?" They're not gonna. They're just gonna take his word at it because they don't think about history. They don't think about 2 or 3 years ago. They just think, "Well, he said so."
Right, but
it's
that's
just
why
true
we're
anyway.
here, Nick. That's why we're
No,
here. and
That's why
we
we're
all have
fucking
channels.
But what
here.
what they're
Right.
also saying now, if you look in the comment section, is well, other directors of bad movies who are male don't get criticized as much. So it's like, dude,
Bullshit.
Come on.
are you
Come on.
serious?
Michael Bay has never had a bad word
Oh
said
my
about
God.
him. Michael
Oh,
Bay's never
Michael
had a bad
Bay.
word.
Rian
compared to-
Johnson, J.J. Abrams,
Rian Johnson.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Like, have we
Uwe
not
Boll
found-
is the most loved director.
Yeah. Really Scott
Yeah,
hasn't
right.
been attacked.
Well,
when he
yeah,
goes- come on.
You don't even need to make that point. Let's make another point. Wonder Woman 84 has 58% at the tomato meter. What is Eternals sitting at?
Oh, it's lower than that, Tom.
All
Yeah,
right,
that-
my point exactly. So that's just a shittier movie than this. I think
Yeah.
all of us can agree on that, right?
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
84 was horrible.
This
I
is
mean,
the
I'd-
problem
I'd
too.
watch
As a
Captain Marvel again.
go ahead. Go ahead,
Well, I
buddy.
was just gonna say, like Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, great examples of Wonder Woman 84, especially of movies that got a pass
Right.
because they were from women directors. More so.
Well,
And the
Pat-
thing too,
go ahead, Jane. I'm sorry.
just one more point is that I go back to this, and I think someone may have said this earlier. The movie itself is beautiful to look at. Some of the action sequences are well done. There were parts of the movie I liked. The problem I had principally was the writing. I can't blame that on the director.
But there's only
agreed,
3 action scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3.
yeah, there's only 3, and I personally thought the CGI looked like ass in the entire movie. Like I watch it, I'm like, none of it looks good. And I'm not a Dune expert, but at least when I watch it, it looked believable. Like I can actually be sold on it. So I watched that. I'm like, okay, this looks believable. I watched the Eternals, and I'm trying not to laugh. I'm in a theater where I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut. I'm trying not to laugh at this.
I'll concede to Jane that I have not seen the movie, so I can't really speak to the acting in the film. So I shouldn't say that much. But no, the problem with these Marvel movies up front is they're all prepackaged, right? That's why Patty Jenkins walked away from Thor.
Yes,
You know?
and that's why she is working for DC now, because at least she has some creative direction. You know, it's just look, it's
bad
Chloe Zhao, and I'm gonna move myself over here. Chloe Zhao
I'll get you
made
next time.
Chloe Zhao made it known that intimate storyline that was put here which was apparently as flat as a fucking cold fish. That intimacy that was baked in to the treatment before she even got there. The writers had already put all this together. The action scenes were already taken care of for her. There's not a lot that she had any say over other than just how emotionless and fixated she was on the scenery around these actors who she didn't direct, which I guess is the whole point Tom was trying to say. So anyway,
well, what I want to see is when will there be a female director, big enough, someone like in her world, like George Lucas's wife was, or ex-wife.
Marcia Lucas. Yeah.
I want a director to come out and say, guess what? I take offense to you not criticizing my film if you don't like it. Like,
you won't get that. No.
We're being. Oh, I know we won't, but we're getting.
Penny Marshall
told.
would have said that though.
See that's what we need. A Penny Marshall, someone who's like, you know what? You're patronizing me because I'm a woman.
I think the one good thing about this film is that it's the first time we've had the critics, we have the megaphone mafia in the media. They turned around and actually attacked one of their own kin. I mean, that to me is winning.
These are the wrong critics, George. These are all DC fanboys. These critics.
Right.
We got the good critics for the next one.
Right, but think about it. When was the last time that you had an entire entourage of critics literally slay?
Yeah,
they don't.
I think there are reasons though, because you have storylines in here that go against their grain, so to speak.
Yeah.
You have Bright, who they gender swapped, and yet she's longing for a husband and children.
Right.
You have Festos.
Sorry, Jane.
Sorry, Jane.
Festos is in a gay relationship, but there's no actual relationship. So
that's the craziest thing to me.
They didn't do it.
I mean, I love the Black Knight.
The film got banned. The film got banned for no reason, right? In all of these Middle Eastern countries because they're not tolerant, right? You realize that the most tolerant country in the entire universe, well, at least the known universe, since we only know our own planet, but the most tolerant audiences in the United States.
Allegedly,
we are the most tolerant
universe.
Audience
galaxy
on planet Earth
right, galaxy right.
And that's the weird thing. It's like there's racism, intolerance, all this other shit. I'm like, F you go to any other country, you're gonna figure out really damn fast just exactly how free and tolerant you are in the United States.
Culture's right. Absolutely. Look at Dune, what they did to Dune in the marketing matter for Dune. They removed Liet Kynes because she was black. And you're like, did you see the media should have gotten in an uproar over that, going, hey, why are we looking ass to the CCP when they keep doing this? It's the
the biggest think about this, the biggest one, Finn. I mean,
he was
well, no, technically he was the smallest one on the poster.
But I guess so. But
when you look at Dune. Dune. Everything they did when they were trying to satisfy the wokies worked because it didn't f up the story. Nobody cared.
Hold on.
First of all, the actress that did it, amazing. The every single moment of that film was amazing. This is why this soy dude wearing a cross, which he can't be that religious at all, looking like he drank every soy latte in LA before he showed up there on the set.
He's a squatty dad bod.
Oh, dude, he is. No, that is an uncomfortable.
I love that.
What's with the hat? What's with the hat? What is that kind of hat?
That's the hat the MCU bought him. That's the hat.
That's the hat that says I can't show off my friar tuck head.
Truthfully, though, truthfully, I would rock that hat, but
soy is oozing from his
mother. Put on some Spanx or something and not have the camera right on his belly.
But look at
I don't know. I think he's lactating soy at the moment. If you look at that,
he looks like he's sipped on skinny soy vegan latte all
Somebody
day.
said he's a woke Billy Zane. He does.
We did that the other night on Friday Night Ties. Yeah. All right,
let's play the
I agree with you 100%. Right when you started talking about this, I said, imagine that. The film that is directed by a woman has the lowest score on Rotten Tomatoes. Not warranted.
Yeah, and she just does some throwaway fucking bullshit there. Just to justify what he said. Did you
But that's what kills me, Tom. It's like a woman can't suck. Like,
Well, there's certain times.
Yeah, they're exempt from criticism, and that's another shield where they want themselves to be exempt from criticism.
Right.
And they always say, well, then, and it's funny because it's one of those things where, like, we need to hear from the diverse voices. I'm just seeing it here, like, saying, why don't you just say we want to hear the voices you agree with instead of the diverse voices? Because when it's someone who looks diverse and they don't say the talking points that you don't want to hear, then you write them off. You call them your Uncle Toms or whatever you call them. So it's never about
misogyny.
Or I'm making an example here. I'm just making examples here. So
toxic male.
Follow me. Yeah,
punch your penis.
They don't care about diverse voices. They just want to hear from people that agree with them. But they can't say that, so they have to put on the front. It's kind of like the whole hate has no home. Just admit that it's the other side of the aisle that you don't want to hear from, and everything will make more sense. So they use other phrases. It's more of the euphemism, double speak, yada yada. Bullshit.
I mean, strong females don't worry about what other people think. They'll take criticism, and if they don't like it, they go, "Fuck you! I know what I know." You've got to protect women. All of a sudden, women are now this sheltered little,
We're sexy.
But here's the thing:
the strongest people in my life are all women, and they're the ones I'm afraid of the most.
Oh, dude, I'm freaking terrified of women. I grew up terrified of women.
Someone clip that. Someone clip that.
Matt Martigan will be proud of that one.
I have my new outro.
My mom, my stepmom, they are powerful women, guys. You don't get it.
Hey, did they pull your hair?
No, if you didn't grow up terrified of your mother, you did not have a normal American upbringing. I'm telling you right now.
Wooden spoon. I was scared of the wooden spoon.
Dude, no, man. Ninja shoes, man. You heard of ninja shoes?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you right now. You did the wrong thing. You knew about it like 2 seconds. You didn't even have to get in the door before you were in trouble. I'm just saying. Well, it was insane. So this is the thing, right? In our society in America, we have this quote unquote patriarchy. I did not experience that in my lifetime, and nobody does, because guess what? The woman runs the household. I'm sorry, even if you have a working mother, she's still running the household. Do you know why? They're the boss.
Yeah, the heart of the house.
They are everything in your upbringing. Your dad can be the figure. And again, I benefited from having a great mother, great stepmother, great father, great stepfather. Right, my life was incredible because not only I had twice as many parents to kick my ass.
Yeah,
but it's just that is a situation that makes it so that you appreciate the roles that people play. Look, it's biological. You're programmed into this. You have no choice. And so, and my role in life is completely different than if I were female. I'm sorry. That's just the way you're written.
No, the culture remind me of one of my favorite sayings I made up.
Okay.
And that was, no, I'm serious. Your parents, let me get this fucking right because I'll fuck it up every
time. It's your own freaking time. It's your own statement.
The cops never used to show up to your house when your parents beat your ass. The cops used to bring your ass home so your parents could.
Yes.
Right.
Dude, and let me tell you how many times that happened in my life. The cops brought me home. I got my ass kicked, and the cops are like, "Do you want to go to jail?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was like, "Yes, please, get my ass to jail because if my dad finds out I got in trouble, my ass is grass."
I remember the first time I saw Mad Men and the neighbor slaps the kid, and I was with like an ex-girlfriend or a friend or somebody at the time, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they did that back then." I'm like, back then, the 80s, if my neighbor hit me or slapped me, I didn't tell my parents that. I prayed they didn't tell my parents that, because my dad would have kicked my ass even more. Let me read this real quick. Toxic Man flew for $5. Only good female director there ever was, Penny Marshall, and she was basically a man.
Whoa.
That's messed up. That's
That's
messed
not-
up.
But here's the thing.
Sense dog.
That's a
Tom
woman,
will
isn't
tell
it?
you. Tom will tell you. Women ran freaking Hollywood. We have these discussions all the time. Tom and I are like, "There's no strong women X. There's no strong women X." We can bring up 1,000 examples of women who ran effing Hollywood for decades. Tom, go ahead.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy used to be one of those names prior to the more recent nonsense.
Right.
But besides Penny Marshall, you had like Penelope Spheris, for example. You had, George Lucas's wife, Marsha, but not only her. I'm trying to think of her name right now, but she was the editor on Jaws. And she actually was the head of Universal for a while too, and I can't even think of her fucking name now.
You had Nora
because they used to call her Mother Cutter. That's all I can remember.
Cutter, yeah.
I can't remember her fucking name.
Lucille Ball. They're making
Lucille
a freaking
Ball. Yes,
oh my god, she is the only reason we have Star Wars, kid, or it was Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah, she's the only reason that we have these things, guys. You guys don't get it. It's all there's the amazing women that made all this shit happen. And look, even horror films. I mean, I don't want to get into the depths of all of this stuff, but the things that most people don't understand is that we have good entertainment because women have always been involved. Men have always been involved. You know what? It's a partnership. It's a partnership in your household. It's a partnership everywhere. There are partnerships that are formed. You are working with a group of people. You cannot take responsibility for everything that you've accomplished in your life. There are many other people that are responsible for what got you where you are. If you are not humble enough to admit that, you didn't have a human experience. You are a narcissistic sociopath piece of shit.
Yep. I love that. Hey, I just want to quickly say this chat, this panel, you guys are on fire. We've been averaging about 50 people. Please hit the like button. You guys are amazing. Gloria Miller, I am love George is here. Gloria Miller and all you guys in the chat. I'm loving all the different stuff you're putting up. Like rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. That's the motto on Thomas Jefferson's seal. We can't forget these things.
No, never.
Let's stop turning these people because they were men of their time. They also planned ahead. They knew that if we leave we can't take care. The truth was we can't take care of slavery right now, or there will never be a United States. So let's leave it for the next generations to take care of it.
Muriel Heller.
They thought.
I just think you just take from it what's good and leave behind what's bad.
Right. I think people are
heroes, right?
That was the whole point of our union, was to continually to create it in such a fashion with a constitution to continually work to perfect it. There's no one on this planet who's had an empire or a country or a civilization that was perfect from day one. We designed it. Our founding fathers designed it in a way where we continue to work on it and better it. You can't bring the past in. I really think there should one day be a president, a leader, someone who says, you know what, from today, it's day one. We're leaving all the past shit in the past and we move forward.
We all thought that was going to be Barack Obama, and I really did. I thought that,
wow.
I did. I was naive.
You couldn't.
I was naive.
Have it because there would always be opposition as long as you follow it.
Exactly. And I never thought he was the Messiah for those circumstances.
Oh no, not that. But
you had to be.
A lot of people did think that.
Pay attention to the fact that this man came out of nowhere, helped along
from
by
the
a whole lot of
the Chicago machine. Remember?
Exactly. Helped out by a lot of systems.
He loved his wife, Michail.
Michail, yeah.
But why am I on the screen right now? I'm not talking
because you're good looking. Go ahead.
You got the hair.
No, it's just
you look like a Messiah than what
I never anticipated him being what he was supposedly supposed to be because, first of all, his politics didn't align with everything that he'd ever done, at least his outward statements, and that's the problem. So I don't listen to what a politician says. I look at what they do, and he never lined up with any of those things. And this is why it's hard to pick a politician because they're going to tell you 1,000 things, ba-bang, 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 right? And it's all going to sound like the fucking flower garden that you want.
But that's why they hated Trump. That's why they hated him. Because here's what I'm going to do, and then he did it, and then they'd go, well, he did another one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, wait a minute. So you need somebody who's plain spoken and honest, and when they tell you something, that's actually what effing happens.
Right. And if they don't do it, we don't vote him back in. Right. If they don't do it, we don't vote him back in.
That's one thing,
George, I wanted to, because you touched on this, one thing that people need to understand, they want to cancel the founding fathers. They want to cancel George Washington. George Washington, unless you can tell me somebody different, is the first person that we know of in written history, and the history we know, that conquered and beat a different nation, was able to become the dictator, was able to take over. He was given the power of the army, and then he handed it back. Caesar didn't do that. You know, so many people
one other person
did not do that.
Yeah, I know. He was in the modern. It was Cincinnatus when Rome was in dire need. The Roman Senate went to Cincinnatus because he had given up all his power. He had retired. He was farming, and they said, "Hey, we need your help." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm done." And they're like, "But we're about to collapse." He's like, "Okay, I have to have complete authority. Complete. Period. I am dictator. And then when I'm done, I'll give it up." They're like, "Yeah, all right. Nobody does." And he went and he did it. He gave it up. He conquered everything. He took care of the problems and he went back home. But Washington, and some of his notes mention that was a role model. But yes, in the modern time, Scott, you are 1,000% right.
Yes.
No one ever did it. When Washington did it, they were shocked because they said you could be king, and he's like, no. That's why when I talk to people,
not a king.
Right. That's why when I talk to people and they say, well, we don't want to sacrifice this. I'm like, you understand the founding fathers, if they would have lost against the British Empire, they weren't going to get a slap on the wrist like, okay, you go back home and you don't get your business. No, they're going to be drawn and quartered, cut up, put all over the world and go traitors.
Yeah, I mean, we got to come to grips that we're not going to get a happy ending. Some blood, figuratively, is going to be shed. We're going to take a few hits and losses, and we need to understand it. We're not going to get a perfect ending out there where everything's all fine and dandy. If we really want to win this culture war, we're going to take a few losses with this. But we'll obviously we're going to have to lose a few battles, but ultimately win the war. We can't expect to win every single bit of this.
That echoed to every other country with the Commonwealth. Like for Australia, for example, in 1901, we decided to become our own nation. We said we would fight, we would go to war with England, but because of our location and everything and their previous history, they went, let's renegotiate. You can be your own thing. You're no longer an extension of that. You're the nation of Australia. And that's how we become. And what happened with Washington and everything is it's further than what happened just to America.
Right.
It went worldwide when it comes to everything. And look at everything. Italy, France, all have benefited from what Washington did, and you know, the developing nation of America. And I mean, as much as you know, I'm a proud Australian, and you know, we did everything ourselves. You gotta look at history, and you've got to understand and respect what came before you, and the sacrifices that all those men made actually helped me as a person be part of a free nation on the other side of the planet.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to another story. We've talked about this one for 2 hours. Yeah, I was gonna think
I thought we were gonna be wrapping up.
We are going to.
This has been a night. I think I want to say this, Scott.
Please.
This is the best show you've ever had ever. By the way, the panel's incredible. The chat's amazing. We have an incredible gathering of great minds. This doesn't happen very often. Those of you who are out there, please understand we appreciate you. Gloria is killing it in the chats, the quotes, everything she's throwing out there. Gloria Miller is 100% on point though.
Yes, she is.
And we like I said, it doesn't happen very often, so when it happens I turn into a complete maniac. So if I overspoke anybody, I'm sorry.
we all have.
Oh my god, it's incredible. This is the best night ever, man. Best night. So,
and I really am. I'm grateful. This, you know, we changed it up a little bit, so for everybody to know, ongoing, we're gonna grab some topics. I might put them up in the description. We might not even talk about them, but we're not gonna stay in just the entertainment world anymore, because guess what? Everything bleeds together now, and you can see this culture war. We're being attacked. They're using our entertainment. They're using our media. They're trying to go after our kids, just like this article that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. They're using everything to break
this bullshit. That's not Big Bird. Big Bird's dead. I'm sorry, kids.
It's not just even Big Bird, man. It's messed up.
He looked like he didn't know what was going on.
No, Big Bird. He's out of it. But what I'm trying to say is this:
kids, I'm not really Big Bird anymore.
Did you guys see Ryan Kell?
I love it.
Told Big Bird to F off on Twitter.
What?
That was the most amazing thing. F you, Big Bird. I was like, holy shit, Ryan. That's on brand, bro.
That is Ryan. Well, from RT.com.
I mean, in all fairness, he thought Big Bird was a woman.
Yeah, maybe he is angry. He is angry.
Directed by a woman. It was directed.
Yeah. Don't forget, it's not his fault. Though.
That's like my dad
it's
right
not
now
his
is all
fault.
pissed off at fucking Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, well, did you ever stop to think of why he had to lie?
Yeah.
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 Like now they're gonna cancel him, Dad. What do you think is gonna happen? Because my dad is so fucking left field. It's not even.
But
funny.
did he really lie? Because at the time when they asked him, it wasn't. They changed the rules a little bit more.
I have no idea, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But my point to my dad is still sound. It's like he listens to just the mainstream media bullshit, and he's all like hung up on this stuff. When it's like, yeah, Dad, you're gonna start to see some pushback now.
We almost covered that.
We just saw it in the election. We saw pushback. I mean, we had the second largest, the biggest election we've had since the presidential election of 2020. And we saw
but he bought into the whole
woke.
peaceful protest. He bought into the whole
Peaceful
insurgents bullshit. He
Mostly.
bought into all that
Tom,
crap.
that's what I want to ask. Have you ever, I'm curious because I've asked and I never get a response from people. So when he was saying this was a peaceful protest, what did your dad say when you're like, okay, what is that over there where they have guns and they're burning down the police department? I'm just curious what a response is.
Mostly peaceful protest.
Did he refer to the fact that most of them were peaceful? We had protests all over Louisiana in pretty much every city and not anything burned.
No, but the point is like, unless you were actually seeing the raw footage of some of this stuff, you weren't seeing the truth.
Right.
I went out to one of them. Because I wanted to.
Okay, I want to add something to that because here's the thing. Even when you see the raw footage, I've seen people, and I'm from the Chicago area, people who look at raw footage in front of their own two eyes, they will still deny something that's in front of them. It's one of those things where if I go to the other side of my room to turn on the light, you saw me turn on the light. You all on this panel saw me turn on the light. But if CNN says I kept the light off, those people will believe CNN said I kept the lights out just because to them that's the voice of reason. And that is, as long as CNN says it, it doesn't matter what they say. Their voices are the arbiters of truth.
Well,
And
see,
as long as CNN calls it peaceful, as long as they call it peaceful, as long as CNN calls it peaceful, then to them it's peaceful. They don't care about the logic of it.
It's happening where they were
it
living.
was
Not
a mostly
everywhere is
consensual
Chicago
sexual
important.
assault.
Well, you're right. Everyone's not, but they ignored those areas where there's the burning buildings. Or once again,
They didn't ignore it because they sensationalized it.
That's
what
exactly
you saw
it.
on the news
they
24/7.
sensationalize it in the
They didn't
sense
go.
that they
They
showed
never
on
went.
TV. Sure.
They never went to the protests where people were just out there minding their business, doing their
Right.
protest,
Yes,
and going home.
you're right.
That didn't
I
get
was-
news.
Right, exactly.
Well,
I was working in Philadelphia during that time, and I had to go fix up a couple stores. But a lot of the times when I was going through those protests, there was nothing. There, nobody was destroying anything. There was a lot of that going on. The sensationalism had a lot to do with that, and also the way that they presented some of it. The denying of the actual acts of violence or destruction that was being had, added to the fact that when you saw people that were peacefully protesting, nobody would believe it. The media lies to us so much and changes the narrative and pushes the narrative so much that it's hard to even know what information we're getting is real, what is legit. And that is one of the biggest issues that we've had in this country, is the way that the media presents information.
It's to the point you can't even watch it anymore.
Right.
Well, and this is the media right here. CNN deploys Sesame Street Muppets to promote vaccines to children. Now, this is
which one of the Muppets?
Well, so the Muppet is this guy.
The top one
And
or
that's
the bottom
bullshit.
one? I can't tell.
Because
Oh.
the Muppets and Sesame Street are technically not the same.
They're
thing,
not
but
the same.
even though-
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Even though they are technically Muppets, they're still their own.
How
They're not
much-
of that brand, yes.
Yeah, but how much money did Pfizer pay Big Bird? Because
Dude,
this
Big
is the
Bir-
thing
Big
that
Bird's a shill. He likes the cash. We know
he is
that.
a shill. He is. That's nice. He is a shill. But this is the thing that bothers me. CNN. You're going to bring news about the vaccine and about this and about that, all promoting positive things. Don't want to talk about any of the negative things. People that don't want it are crazies. Yet at the begearing of
Gearing
every
this up to
show,
give
wait a
it
minute,
to
but
kid.
Right, but at the beginning of every show, it's brought to you by Pfizer. You know, it's like there has to be some type of like, I don't know.
It's
discretion.
a big fucking it's a big fucking they're screwing us. Like I don't
Brought to you by Pfizer. Shut your yab and get the jab.
Because we'll get in trouble, and I don't want to get your channel taken down. But yeah, this is all gearing up to aim this shit at kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
look, Big Bird got COVID-19 vaccine today, Tom.
Why is everyone's kid on Twitter?
Yeah, well, that's a whole.
That's
different
not
story.
the point. Your parent sees this. They show the kid. It's. Again, I'm trying to be careful with my fucking words here. Like,
well, don't say fucking.
Use a story.
I can say fuck all I want. That's the fucking problem.
Use a similar. Use a story. Tell Batman's story.
Even telling stories doesn't help because you use certain terms and certain things. But
no,
like I think the first thing that needs to be said is, pro having a choice does not mean anti anything, right? And that's the first thing I think that needs to be said for both sides on many different equations of this. And this could be a topic where everybody could finally come to some common ground on. Mm-hmm. And instead, we've got the media pushing more narratives like we were just talking about again. And right back to the whole, Aaron Rodgers thing and a few other people that have been just totally drugged through the mud in the media. Emilio Estevez just got fired over the shit, right? Now, I guarantee you he's not necessarily anti-whatever, the word I can't say, but I guarantee you he is not necessarily cool with somebody telling you have to do this or you're, it's your job. And it's like, well, in that case, it's my job, I guess. Especially with somebody like Emilio who's like, I don't need this shit.
Right. Ice Cube as well. He just said, fuck that shit, turned down all that money and he pieced out. And you know what? Shout out to Ice Cube for that. And he's actually still gangster after all these years.
What were you saying there, Mr. Grant Gregory?
I'm saying he was definitely pro the thing we're talking about because he was selling merchandise and promoting it and everything. But then when they were forcing, he went, "Wait, no, like it's not just being either one side or the other. It's the mandation of."
Exactly.
And they don't understand the difference.
Right. But the Fifth Court of Appeals understood it today. That's why they put an injunction on it to look at a permanent to look forward to a permanent one because it's unconstitutional.
I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, about 4 hours ago. 4 hours ago, the Fifth Court of Appeals from Texas.
The short version was it a bill?
Go, Tom.
What was it called?
No. An OSHA rule.
Whatever rule it was that Biden was trying to put through that if you have a business that has over 100 employees, you have to have a mandate in place.
And it's actually George is 100% right. It was actually a little over 7 hours ago that the judge said, "Eat a bag of dicks." And I was like, "Congratulations, Judge! Eat a bag of dicks was the correct response."
That is the correct.
But think about this though.
For a second, I thought you were legitimate that he said "eat a bag of dicks."
Well, not exactly. Essentially saying, look, there are grave concerns over the constitutionality of said rule and similar. But that's
why we have three branches. But let me just throw this in real quick. Think about this. Since the announcement culture, no, you can stay right there because I want you to talk about it, buddy. Don't get upset.
Well, it's not just
since the announcement of the 100 people mandate, if you have 100 or more, to today, think about how many people, because they were worried they were getting close to their deadline, got the vaccine against.
Oh yeah, I mean, you essentially, this is the problem with all of this stuff, right? You are encouraging people to sacrifice their freedom, their free will. One of the things you get coming into this life, especially in this country, is the natural rights you should be born with, right? They cannot be compromised by any form of government.
They're not given by government.
Crimes against humanity are a real thing, and some people should be held accountable.
They should, and they will be one day.
Kind of thing. There are natural crimes, and I'm sorry, whether or not you agree with that or not. There's a lot of law based on these concepts, these ideas, and it's interesting when you see someone that is, someone that's trying to compromise, your very essence. By the way, the one of the founding principles of fascism is your body is not yours; it belongs to the state.
Right. Well, yeah.
You just occupy it.
Yep.
Right.
At a cost.
The thing that we have to remember is that no matter what it is, it doesn't matter if it's a beer bug or what policy it is. You always have a choice, even when you feel you don't. And I have family members, I have friends who've been told at work. I always tell this story: do X or go. And so I'm like, okay, you do X. Cool. You go along with it because you have a family, you got to take care of them. What happens next week, next month? We have to. Each person has to draw a line in the sand for what they won't, what they will not cross.
Right, and that's
problem, George.
Yes.
That's the problem. Okay, so everybody has their own version of a slippery slope, because that's basically what George is saying, and he's not wrong. This is the stuff that makes George and I crazy, because I don't know if you know George. George went through a personal version of a slippery slope. He went through a kind of a hell you can't possibly appreciate if you don't know his story, if you don't know his background. And so I look at these things. Do not compromise yourself. George is the living embodiment of not compromising himself.
Right.
He is a personal hero to me, and it's not because of the enormous support that he shows for everybody. It's because he endured where other humans would possibly not. And again, I'm not going to compromise his story.
Right. No, it's okay.
Well, no,
most people know the thing is you have to make a choice. It's going to come a time between, and it's not about comfort. It's about, okay, I'll put it this way. What happens if you're at a company, you do exactly what they say, and then next month they decide, guess what? We've decided to support NAMBLA. So from now on, we want everyone to contribute. Of course, they can't force you to contribute, but if you don't give a piece out of your paycheck, guess what? Slowly you'll get weeded out. So what are you going to do? Go, I'm going to support, that type of lifestyle and people who harm children.
Yeah,
you have to make a choice.
That's why you got to put your foot down now, because they will never stop. They will never stop unless you finally say something, because that's the thing. They're not going to stop. They keep saying, okay, this is it. No, it's not. It's just them saying that so they get you to follow through. That's not them stopping at that point, because if that was truly the goalpost, all this craziness would have stopped.
That's why what the government did this time is worse, because they're using corporations to do the job they can't do legally. Scott.
Yeah.
But see, they can't, even the corporations are compromised here. Right. And I'll say this will be the last thing I say, because Tom's on the screen. You can't be forced to do anything, guys. This is a country where that can't happen. Okay. If something's not actually criminalized, there aren't penalties to pay for that. And if you suffer from penalties, right, you can seek damages from said injustice. And there will be a reckoning. And this is probably the best way that Rand Paul ended what he was dealing with earlier in the day, by the way. He said history will judge you, to Dr. Fauci. He was not wrong.
That guy's my enemy.
Straight up.
The problem too, though, is when you're talking about employers, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have, for the most part, an at-will employment system.
Well, that's true.
So you can still get fired for no reason, let alone any other reason.
Right.
So I mean, there is still that very real risk to.
That's why you got to move to Texas or Florida.
What it is this: you have a right.
Scott, I'm sorry. I need to ask a question because Jane was here. I'm sorry, Scott.
No, don't worry.
No, Jane.
Just my show.
I tell you what, if my employer says you have to do X, by the way, I don't have to worry about that. But if my employer said you have to do that, right? Okay, I'm going to say, okay, you are now taking responsibility for my health. So you're going to sign this statement, this document. This document says that you are now taking responsibility for my health if I get said whatever, right? So if there are any long-term effects from any of this, if this ever comes out as a bad thing, you're now responsible, and you are now allowing me to sue you for said enforcement of whatever this is.
You're assuming that they will sign the statement versus
right. A lot of them just said screw you. This is the problem. Don't forget. Point of whatever.
Point of order.
You have a right. You have a right to decide. This is what I believe. You have a right. No, you have a right to decide. I am not going to take it. What are you going to do? And they have a right, if you're not in a union or you're not protected, to say, okay, you're fired, because we all have that choice. Now, I will be honest. When it happened, my wife and I sat down because I work for one of those companies. I just had a third child, and I had family members that, weren't going to have us over for Thanksgiving. And I said, all right, the only one I will take is the J&J.
Right.
Let's just do it. And I did it. Now, granted, do I look back and I regret some of it? Yes, I do, because there's a part of me that says I could have showed my children some daddy standing up for his principal, but there's also another part of me that says I wouldn't
gotta feed my
You
kids.
can feed your kids.
Well, that's what it is. So
Let's
I'm
start
feeding my
putting this
kids.
out there like they do it to us, right? Like what they like to do. Okay, let's replace the thing that we're talking about with gay aversion therapy and see how people react.
Right.
Like you have people pressuring other people into
really
doing
good
it,
one, Tom.
just like people used to be pressured into that. And I'm sure there is still places where that happens, but not to the point where it's a problem like it used to be, right? We figured that out. We fixed it, right? Like that's the thing. And I don't remember my whole point before, but I mean, George is right.
The precedent for this is prior vaccine mandates.
Exactly. Right. And there's too many other the slippery slope thing is what I was going to get to anyway, because sadly George is right, and not only that, it sounds hyperbolic what he's saying, but he's not wrong. Right. And not to switch gears and kind of get out of this or move on to something else possibly, but it's the same thing I keep saying about the whole movies thing. Like, sure, they're going to go ahead and they put a label on the movie today. Well, then tomorrow they just say, oh, well, if you like that movie, then you are exactly what that label says. Right. And then they make the thing with said label illegal, hence making you the owner of contraband if you don't want to turn it over. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but we're in the first stages of that, just like what George was talking about. We are literally in the first stages of what he was talking about too, without getting into that stuff, because that's what they're doing out there. We've seen it in the last few years.
Think about it as guns. Everybody talks about guns online. It's guns. Think about it. If you had an employer who said, guess what? We're taking we're going to adopt a gun-free employment policy, which means we want everyone to admit who owns guns. Now, you're going to say that can't happen. It's the U.S. No way. They're going to say it's an at-will state. We don't want to have anyone here who owns guns. We think it's unsafe for your health. Our insurance rates are going to go higher because of this new policy, because of a new governor. What are you going to do? So you're going to go, it's a gun. I'm going to lie. I won't tell anything. Okay, then it gets found out. Then you get fired. You have to think about it. That's why I said everyone has a choice, but you have to draw a line in your mind and in your heart and go, what line will I not cross? And only you can know that, but you need to draw that line. Because when you draw that line, it becomes real for you. And at that moment, you'll stop taking shit.
And George, I got to say real
100%
quick.
100% George.
Yeah, and I got to say, George, after this, what just happened, I realized next time I'll have to figure it out, because
but here's the thing,
principle is important.
What else?
It's not because they'll do it.
Hold on, let Jane and then go.
Yeah.
What else helps people to be able to do that is having multiple streams of income.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the best things to come out of 2020 was that people found other ways to earn money. Right. They're not taking crap. They're quitting their jobs. Yep. They're not putting up with what they've had to put up to this point.
Right.
So that's one of the great things to come out of it, is a whole new economy.
Right. Yep. And make sure to join Sporking News OnlyFans.
Yep.
Damn it, you stole my joke, you bastard.
But that's the thing is people are also discovering other types of currency. You have NFTs, cryptocurrency, all kinds of stuff that gets you outside of a centralized economy, right? And yes, it's a little more radical. There's a lot more risk tolerance you have to have, because it does fluctuate. But here's the thing. I mean, when you pick some of the right horses, you end up in a situation where you're like, holy crap, I got a bunch of money I didn't deserve. And
you're not a financial planner though, right?
I will never give. You might be able to buy a planet later on.
Yes, I am not. That's the weird thing. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial expert. Don't take financial advice from me. Do your own due diligence. Yeah, but I'm just a weird human that I had to go off camera because the freaking StreamYard sucks balls.
It does.
But, yeah. So, but the coolest thing is that there are, Jane's 1,000% correct. You have 100,000 different ways to earn money. There is going to be a new economy that will come from this, from the people who will not participate in fascism. That would be us. Yep. And not only that, the weirdest thing I ever saw was that the Antifa wackaloons are, and the BLM humans are going, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to be against the stuff that's happening around us? Oh yeah, huh?
I support Bald Lives Matter.
Bald Lives Matter. You know what the great thing? You know what the great thing that happened during 2020 and 2021 is that how many people went online and discovered each other, and discovering new skills and communicating. Because part of the entire beer bug was to divide people, to isolate them. And what it did was the opposite. They're like, okay, I can't go out, but I'll go in. So
right.
I mean,
I'll go deep in.
Thank God this happened now instead of in 1990. Because the world would have been an extremely different place.
Yeah, and I know we're winding down, but I just want to say Gloria Miller is just oh my God.
Gloria, don't please make sure you come back. I love a lot of information. Everybody, this has been such an awesome chat. Everybody's been on fire. This panel rocks. We're gonna have a little different mix of this panel here and there, but we have some great YouTuber content creators going to be on the Saturday show. Later in the month, we'll have some great guests. Hopefully, if Walton doesn't steal them all and tell them not to call me, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to thank everybody.
Will Edwin turn up?
Edwin might turn up, spelled EDCO. We all know
Edco.
that. Edco right now
That's
is protesting this stream. He is starting a petition against this stream, calling us all racist and sexist.
Who?
So, Edwin's my personal assistant.
Edco.
Well, it's spelled
No,
Edco,
Edco,
but his name's
Are y'all
pronounced
being
Edco.
funny or are you being serious? Someone's doing it against you?
We'll talk backstage.
Oh, okay.
It's not sport. He's my assistant. Living the dream. All right, everybody. So let's I want to do for some of the smaller channels, let's get people that are under 1,000, do your outro.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll bounce out. So Mr. Grant Greg, wait a minute. Toxic Man Flu for $10 says, what we are seeing now, the indoctrination, thank you, I could say that, of children in schools, the mind control of a nation, the segregation of people we saw in 1920s and 30s Japan.
We also saw
and
it here.
We did. And we know how that ended. He's absolutely right. And you know what I've noticed in my town alone? School board, city council, everything went from left to right.
Yeah.
And Virginia
it's happening
and
across the
country.
Yeah.
Texas is going crazy.
And it's going to keep going that way because they can say we're you know what, we're not teaching this in schools, except they are. We had a very brave essentially the administrator of tech for Indiana, Illinois, I don't know which it was, but he said he was, and I copied the video so it wouldn't get lost to history, essentially describing, oh no, we're not teaching this, except we are, and giving you all the elements of the CRT that's getting taught to children by these freaking supposed teachers that are nothing more than the indoctrinators. We have to deal with that. Tom's going to sleep.
You also do see things swing left and right. That's why I'm not panicking over this. I remember when they were telling Republicans we would never win another race, period.
Right.
And it's flipped on its head. So.
Look, it always seems like I'm not saying anything, but it is. I mean, look at history. When the world is in trouble, a lot of the times they will go right, and then when they steady the ship and things start to look good, principle and idealism comes in and they go left, and it's just
So wait a minute, it's not principle. Principle is
maybe the wrong
based.
word. The wrong word. But
you're right.
let's put it this way: in times of hard times, we create warriors. In times of peace, we
brave men
create
come
guardians.
out of hard times.
Yeah, we create gardeners. But we need warriors right now in this garden. So, Mr. Grant Gregory, please let him know where to find you.
Yes.
You can find me anywhere where Mr. Grant Gregory, where it is over here, is. And also, I just want to do a small little plug, if I can. I'm up to the chapters called Icarus in this absolutely brilliant,
Yes.
brilliant book.
Wow.
The only thing that I find is missing from this is a big signature right there. That's the only thing that I'm missing.
You pay for you pay for the shipping.
I understand why George's videos are so bloody good when it comes to 3 or 4 videos in how articulate he is. His description of just simple things like food and everything. It's mind-boggling. How good he is. And, I'm happy to say that I bought this. I'm happy to call you friend and go subscribe to George.
That was beautiful, man.
Absolutely.
And subscribe to Mr. Grant Gregory. And talking about George, I haven't gotten the book. I'm sorry. I'm so out of the loop. That is awesome.
okay.
I need to get one now. So give me information after this. George, let him know where your channel is, which is blowing up.
Go to George the Giant Slayer. I have 4 videos up, and I'm going to put another 4 out this week. I'll be covering the Eternals review, which you kind of heard a little bit how I feel, and some more politics and pop culture news. Thank you, everyone. I love the panel and amazing chat. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. And the great 32 flavors of Nick Weiser.
Nick Weiser.
Hello, human beings. On Monday nights, I yell at park cars with Comics Division and Culture Casinos for Talks a Lot and a few other dudes. And we got to get Sporker back soon on this. So, we got that on Toxic Tuesday. This Tuesday night, we'll be talking Escape from New York. You guys voted for it. Mad Martigan tried to do a 3 a.m. fortification with a ballot up with Demolition Man, and even with the fortification, Escape from New York still beat this movie. So it was just meant to be. It's going to be great. And I've got a few videos on the way as well this week. I won't say for what and why, but just keep your eyes and ears open and sub to my channel and check me out on the socials. I'm on Minds. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Insta at Nick Weiser. So you take out the flavors and it's just the Nick Weiser. So check it out and we'll see you all soon. And I had a pleasure of a time being on a big dump with all of you. So I cannot wait to do it again.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Joakim Stark says for 20 Swedish kronos or something. Plug for
Swedish krona.
So I'm close. Plug for the Wheel of Time video.
It's actually
very good. You know what? Mr. Grant Gregory is our official.
Yeah, because I can't do that. I can't do that.
I know. You're really white.
I really have to say.
No, I have a good tongue. I'm a cunning linguist.
Very cunning linguist.
It is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
That says it. That says it, everybody. That says it, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you, Culture Casino, for all the hard work. Thank you, Walton, for just stepping all over me with your great guests
and never saying anything. You came on this stream just to be short, I guess.
I was fine. It was hard to fight for time with such wonderful minds on this panel.
Yes, like Jane Theory. Thank you, Jane Theory, for being here. You're amazing. You are amazing. And Tom, thank you for being the big name on the channel always. I love you, Tom. I'm sorry. We just woke Tom up. Hey, everybody. Thank you to...
Wait. I think Culture and I are going to go do some karaoke.
We are. We're going to go sing. We're going to sing.
While you're watching the team draw, you can listen to us sing.
Yeah, guys, make sure you check out Paulie's channel. Check out Machiny's channel and Bear Nerd Fun. Paulie, Machiny, stop into all 3. That's how we support. You don't have to stay long on any of them. I don't.
Just flop around like Scott does in bed. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
You got a spam person in there.
We always do. Thank you for being a spammer. And flop around like I do in bed for about a minute. Take care, everybody.
Wash your hands, wash your ass.
Walton is a dick. He's such a dick.
Better believe it.
He has a pretend girlfriend. Drunk 3PO hates him. But Mark C. I hate you too. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.